sports56.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Stay tuned in. Sports 56. WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brent Scott, Sportsworthy, and Ryan Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Monday afternoon, President's Day afternoon. A lot to get into, a busy weekend in the sports world. Tigers were in action. They fell on the road against Wichita State. We had All-Star Weekend for the NBA. Not a lot, but a lot going on. A lot of really good college basketball action as well. So a lot to get into over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you today?
Brian, I'm doing well. Speaking of the president, if he stayed at Daytona for the whole race yesterday, he stayed there most of his term.
Well, yes, that was a long one yesterday. Delays all over the place. Weather a factor.
It turned into the 24 hours of Le Mans, didn't it?
Yeah, it became. We talked about it on Friday.
Trump will have his library built by the time they got that race finished.
That's right. See, I don't watch a lot of Daytona, but
I watch none.
I'll bounce in, just get a glance of it, and so at like 7 o'clock, I was a little under the weather over the weekend, so I was kind of in and out
I hope
on
I didn't
everything.
Give it to you.
I don't know, Brett. You might have. I don't know, though. But we're feeling great today, so two
Good.
thumbs up today. But I was a little in and out of everything yesterday, and so at like 7 o'clock last night, I'm flipping around, and I accidentally go past Fox, and I see cars going around the track, and I was like, I did not dream this happening at like 1 o'clock this afternoon or noon this afternoon. Why are they still racing? And then I found out all of the weather delays and everything.
Well, it's a good thing they moved the race time up.
That's right. Yes, because that did not work out
I
for them.
I did almost the same thing. I flipped over there, I guess, around local news time, 5 or 5:30, for really, kind of see the weather forecast.
Yeah.
And they were going, round and round and round. And
That's right.
at a very slow pace. And I said, no thanks. And then caught up with the delays on the Twitter machine.
Yeah, that's where I found out about the weather delays. All-Star Weekend, did you watch any of that either?
Not a second. And when I say not a second, not a highlight, low light, nothing. All I got at all from it was, brief, cursory rolling through Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tuned in Sunday. I did not watch any on Friday. I tuned in on Sunday just to see, new format, get the feel the vibes,
I'm holding it 0-0.
Yeah, well, you didn't miss much. I'll tell you that. I'm sure you've seen that sentiment around on social media.
It's brutal.
You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much at all. It was nothing different. Different format, same story. That's what it was.
I think they could have had a weekend playing horseshoes and hacky sack, and not gotten worse press.
Well, and this is all just theories and hypotheticals, I guess, and I have no idea if this is true or not. But the way it sounds like, there were reports going out Saturday night that Adam Silver was going to meet with all of the players Sunday morning and really have a conversation about let's be competitive tonight. So that was supposed to happen Sunday morning. Well, Sunday about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we learned that LeBron James is not going to play in the All-Star game. So I'm just reckless speculation here. Maybe he was told, let's give a little effort. He said, I'm not doing that. I just won't participate if we're going to do that.
And it's like they do not want to sweat.
Mm-mm. No.
And it's not any different than NFL and much different than Major League Baseball. And I watched a grand total of zero of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's what all-star games have become. We always talk about with the NFL, the exact same thing. NHL, before they decided to go to four-nation face-off this year, last year, their all-star game was the exact same. Guys just out there hanging out. I mean, it's what all-star games have become. It's just, and I don't know what to make of it.
They're lost causes. I mean, like at the state level, playing in the high school all-star football game or basketball game, That doesn't do it for anybody anymore.
No. And I'll say I think the most competitive game was the Rising Stars team that had Zach Edey and Jalen Wells on it that made it through Friday. Theirs was a little competitive against the OGs, the older guys. And then I got to give Jaron credit. He was trying to pick up full court defense, give a little bit more effort, but didn't seem like any of his teammates were trying to do that. So it was really just him out there.
No, don't confuse. I'm ready for Thursday night in downtown Indianapolis for the Grizzlies play the Pacers.
Oh yeah, and I think that's a lot of people. I mean, the All-Star game is what it is now. I mean, I don't think any changing it, and so let that be what it is. I think everybody's ready to get back to the actual basketball because it feels like this downhill stretch that we're going to be on, especially for the Grizzlies, it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot could happen. Right now they're at a 2 seed, but who knows what could happen and where they could end up with how close this Western Conference is.
Brian, I did watch the 16-team reveal, and that included the chair of the committee, Bubba Cunningham, athletics director at North Carolina. And I, just like in the college football season, I don't put too much. Yes, I look every week, but I don't put too much stock in your AP ranking or the coaches poll ranking. And I put even less during college basketball because I know that they have that big old bracket that they reveal in March. But in college football, I even look at the AP and college coaches poll ranking even less after they start the reveal of the bracket. I would suggest to people here that are fretting and worried about where the Tigers are going to come in ranked and how far they're going to fall. None of it matters. They gave you the cheat code Saturday.
Yep.
Here's our information, and if you're not in that, you can speculate on where you are, whether you were the third 5 seed, which would be 18 or so.
Yeah.
They told you exactly what the committee chair told you. Stop all the, what's the Tiger loss going to do, to the AP ranking?
Yeah.
It's meaningless.
Yeah, you're right. And, they gave you a blueprint of what they're looking at and what it looks like, at least for those top 4 seeds, and kind of gives you an idea of how they're viewing these teams. And while they only gave you the top 4 seeds, I think you can take that information and have a decent idea of what some of the latter will look like. And
all the importance and the id and super ego that was put into weeks of the AP poll. You knew what one loss in this league would do.
Oh, yeah.
And you knew what it would do for criticism, for perception. Coach Hardaway saying that his losses are scrutinized more than any other coaches. And, he has said before he thought he had the hardest job in the country. Well, this is why.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you're not playing anybody any good.
Yeah. I mean, this conference, we know what it is. It's not a good conference, and
I don't need to hear about how tough Wichita on a Sunday afternoon is. They lost at home to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Not the Scouts, not the Royals, not Patrick Mahomes, not the Kansas City Omaha Kings.
The Roos.
They lost to the Kangaroos.
That's right. It's a great mascot. But not a great team.
And that building used to be more full than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
That used to be to the top full.
Oh yeah, no, there have been a lot of Tiger teams that have played in more rocking environments than what that was yesterday.
This back-to-back roadies of Tampa and Wichita, it had a grand total. I'm trying to find the combined crowds. I'm going to say about 10,000, about 11,000, about 5,500 each.
Yeah.
That was combined.
I wouldn't call that rocking, Brett.
No, I wouldn't either.
Not at all.
But I don't understand some of the freak out either. Because what we acknowledge and we talked a bunch, trying to precondition that there was going to be one more, probably one more road loss.
Sure, absolutely.
Maybe two.
Maybe.
But it could not be one at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think there will be one at home. Mm-mm. And I think FAU is plenty improved and will be better next Sunday in Memphis than they were the first conference game in Boca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But you'll have that week off to get ready for them. So, I mean, you should be super fresh and super ready to go for that game.
As far as the weather differences from Tampa to Wichita, I think that's only germane unless I have breaking news in front of me that they played outdoors.
Yeah, different. One of those.
Memphis
early
did not play outdoors in Wichita, did they?
No.
Okay.
No. This wasn't one of those games where they were playing.
1936 Olympics were held outside, though.
How about that?
Did you know that in basketball?
Had no clue.
Yeah.
It's news to me. I'm learning something new.
Sure was.
No clue. Had no clue. But no.
Just can't imagine playing outdoors in Tampa and outdoors in Wichita. And the total team. Look, I've been on with team trips. Mm-hmm. You land. The buses are literally on the tarmac right by the plane.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 75 yards. You may be outdoors.
Sure.
Then you're inside the bus. You go to the airport or to the hotel, and I'm going to say maybe another 50 yards.
Maybe, yeah.
So we're at 125 yards. You're exposed to the conditions.
Yeah.
So far. Then from the hotel to the arena, that might not be 20 yards.
Nah.
But I'll go crazy and say, Max, you're outside 200 yards.
Okay.
Can't be in that big of an impact.
No. Not at all. Not
ludicrous.
At all. Yeah, it absolutely is. But not a lot of fun yesterday in Wichita. Overtime loss, 84-79. And it was another one of those games, Brett. It was just Wichita was a more physical team, and neither team really shot the ball very well. I mean, both teams struggled.
I was shocked at the Tiger guard defense.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, defense was very.
I thought the Tiger post play was really good yesterday. Mm-hmm. I thought we had our Musa game.
Musa was really good. A double-double from him. He looked good. I thought Nicholas Jourdain was really good yesterday as well. Dane Danger had a game that I think he'd like to forget about. One that we haven't seen since he became a starter. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I thought the bigs were really good yesterday, but guard play was definitely questionable. It
was, and now this loss has kind of gotten some really upset. This league has always been what this league is, but for the heavy criticism that I give it, and we'll continue to give it until the Tigers say, see you when we see you. You got to remember this about this league. Penny has never won this league.
Yeah.
Football has not won this league since 2019.
Mm-mm.
The Tigers were not picked to win this league preseason this year.
No, they weren't. That's a good point.
So that's this league.
Yeah. I mean, you've got.
And why in the world anybody thinks that you can make somebody interested in what the rest of this league is doing is beyond me. Nobody cares.
No.
Nobody wants to know the two deep at South Florida. Nobody wants to know the starting lineup at Charlotte.
No.
Nobody wants to see this tournament here next year.
Mm-mm. No. Well, I mean, heck, I don't know if you saw this, Brett, but what was it? I don't remember if it was first game or first day down at this year's tournament. Free to the public. Just come one, come all. And
that tells me there's not a huge demand for your tickets.
Not a huge demand at all. If we're just giving
because it's just
tickets,
very little free out there.
Yeah, especially for conference tournaments. I mean, nobody's giving that out for free, but they are for this year.
Gosh, if it's free at Dickey's Arena, what is that one gamer it didn't? Are they giving you cash?
Well, it might be that one. I just saw it was either first day or first game was free to the public. Just come on in and
I remember Ozani AAC.
That's right.
We kicked things off on Wednesday, March 12th in Denton.
It gets weird.
With the 12 playing the 13.
It's real weird. I still can't believe that. But yeah.
If first day at Dickey's, if that's free, then it should be. You give me cash and I'll show it.
Yeah.
I got to have cash.
Give me some money, and I'll come and watch your first day of it. Yeah, I'll have to find that. And
in fact, I think you probably could
clarify.
negotiate. No, I need a little cash and some coupons at the concession stand too.
Yeah, give me some free food. Give me some free merch, and then give
Yeah.
me some money.
I got to have something.
And then maybe I'll think about it. But other than that, no, thank you. Yeah, I'll have to double check on. But it was something. It was one of them. Get in free. Just
Very little free.
come
out
on
there.
in. Very, very little free. But I guess that shows you what. Here it is. First round games of the American Basketball Championships at North Texas are free for fans. March
That's just
8 at
one men's
noon. Women's first round game. March 12th at noon Central. Men's first round game.
Yeah.
Both free. So. I mean, still though, you're giving away any game for free. That's still. I mean, I guess if your team's playing, it's a good deal. I'll take it.
Who would be the 12 versus
geez.
13 today?
Probably a heck of a game. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm digging for it.
I guess that shows you how much we're locked into the American right now.
Rice and Charlotte, right now.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Now you got to pay me.
I'll let
Free's
him
not
have it.
enough.
No, I'll definitely let him have it. But we'll talk a lot more about this game and what happened yesterday in Wichita. But let me set up today's show. Before we get to top and not top story of the day, 3:30, we'll get more into this loss as Memphis took the loss to Wichita 84-79 in overtime yesterday. We'll talk a lot about it in our next segment at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk more about the NCAA Top 16 reveal that took place on Saturday. All 4 seeds given to you by the committee. If the tournament started right now, what the top 4 seeds would look like. We'll talk about that at the end of this hour. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He covers college football and college basketball over at CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll talk about the Tigers. We'll talk about the top 16 reveal. We'll talk 1 versus 2. Mississippi State, Ole Miss. We'll talk everything under the sun with David Cobb. 4:30, Shelby Mast from BracketWag.com. He joins us every week to talk bracketology. I checked his bracket yesterday, and he posted on there that he did really well in terms of the top 16 reveal from the committee. So we'll have to talk about him.
And I owe Shelby an apology.
Do you?
I took a little exception a week ago where he had Memphis.
You did.
He had Memphis as a 7.
He did.
He has Memphis as the 6 this week.
How about that? Moved up somehow.
Shelby saw the future, didn't he?
Saw the future. Yeah. Hey, maybe you got into Shelby. Maybe you spoke some reason into him.
But, a week ago, everybody had Memphis in 4 or 5 range.
Yeah.
He had way down at 7,
Yeah.
which I thought was a little punitive. Today, 6, I think, is about right.
I think that's about right. I think, maybe he was a little closer.
But I questioned him last week.
You did, and hey, that's all right. That's what we're here for. You ask the questions, ask the hard questions, and get the hard answers. So we'll talk Shelby at 4:30, 4:45. We'll get to big number of the day, 5 o'clock. Giving to Michael All-Star break, giving him a little bit of a rest this week. I know he's been super busy. He was out there at All-Star Weekend festivities. So pinch hitting for him, Rob Fisher from FanDuel Sports Network will join us, talk the Grizzlies. I've got to say this. I got to tell Rob this when he joins us, but nothing better, obviously, now that they've done the rebrand to FanDuel Sports Network, and he gets on there pregame and then at halftime giving the parlay before the game and then giving the update at halftime. It just feels more official with the FanDuel Sports Network. Oh yeah. But with that little FanDuel logo on the mic, it fits a lot more than it did with Bally. So,
it really it just furthers
it does.
the gravitas, the credentials of he's a handicap.
He is. So we'll talk a lot of Grizzlies with Rob Fisher at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's the preseason pool and patio sale going on right now at Family Leisure. Spring is just around the corner, and it's time to start thinking about your backyard entertainment. 2024 pricing on all above-ground pools and patio furniture. Beat the rush and get in line for your pool installation right now. Patio furniture is up to 70% off to make room for the incoming inventory. Play gyms, trampolines, and outdoor kitchens are also on sale, and spas are up to $3,000 off. And if you mention this ad, you get a $250 gift card with a pool, spa, or patio furniture purchase. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. He's Bryant. I'm Brett. We are produced by Landon Schmidt, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255, always in our Family Leisure studio. And after this week, with the weather that it looks like we have headed our way, won't we be ready to get to the great outdoors and by the pool from Family Leisure? This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be the Memphis loss yesterday against Wichita State. 84-79, the final score in overtime. Memphis had an opportunity to put it away at the end of regulation, but then a turnover late that gave the ball back to Wichita State. They miss a shot, draw a foul, and I'll be honest, I mean, some of the guys that were going to the line for Wichita State yesterday, guys that were on the year, 60% free throw shooters, 70% free throw shooters, guys that you would think you want at the line when it's a 1-and-1 and they need two to tie it. But they were perfect yesterday. The guy that hit the clutch three in overtime to pretty much give Wichita State the win on the season, a 30% three-point shooter. So it was just one of those type of days for the Tigers. They didn't shoot the ball well. It was a very poor shooting game. 36% from the field, 38.5% from three, only 75% from the free throw line. They got out-rebounded 54-45. That kind of showed you how poor both teams were shooting last night, just the amount of rebounds. 99 combined rebounds.
If it's a missed shot, it's got to be a rebound.
Oh, yeah. It was a ton of rebounds in that game. And, you look at Wichita State, Quincy Ballard, who I feel like has really good games against the Tigers over the last 2 seasons. It feels like I've heard his name a lot in these games. He had a really good game, especially in the second half. 19 points for them. They started running this pick and roll, got him open. Defense for the Tigers was very questionable yesterday. But one thing that the Tigers did well, that it feels like if you were going to talk about a loss, especially in conference play, it would come down to turnovers. Now I know the turnover at the end of regulation that led to points for Wichita State. Yes, that was a bad one, but on the night, or on the afternoon, I should say, only 10 turnovers in that game. I mean, that's pretty good for this team that has been averaging a lot more. I think first turnover, 8 minutes left in the first half, but it was the getting out-rebounded. It was the poor shooting, poor guard play, especially on the defensive end for the Tigers that led to that Wichita State win.
My top story in the Big Egg and Iron Bowl on the hardwoods, we saw what happened. It was all about the visitor. Auburn controlled from the start, never trailed against Alabama. And Mississippi State was dominant again in the Egg Bowl. Bama now has to go to the Plains for the season split, while State knows it has the sweep. It has it sweeping pretty good style, sweeping won the home game in overtime, and it was dominant Saturday. Auburn showed that they can win it all. And State showed they're way ahead of Ole Miss right now.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's the Four Nations face-off. It's what hockey decided to throw together instead of their all-star weekend. Let me tell you something. It has been a slam dunk. It was incredible. Saturday night, USA versus Canada up in Canada. The national anthem was booed. We already knew the boys. They didn't like that when it happened in the previous game.
The Kachuk boys like to fight, don't they?
They sure do. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game, setting the tone early. It was all USA. And I'll say this. I don't know if you can find something
Don't
similar.
Kachuk with the Kachuk boys. Boy, got to be careful saying that.
Got to be careful with that.
Especially all phlegmatic.
Yes, you are absolutely right with that. Those are 2 guys that I would not want to mess with. But, this is something that NHL threw together in place of their All-Star Weekend. I don't know if you could get something similar. Certainly not a tournament. I kind of like the idea that was thrown around. I think Giannis said it yesterday, maybe a USA versus the world to put some sort of pride on the line. But it shows NHL found a way to make this work. The pace that was played at over the weekend, the intensity that it was played at on Saturday was incredible to watch. Guys describing it as bigger than Game 7, Stanley Cup Game 7. It really worked. It was a lot of fun. I had friends texting me that never watch hockey at all saying, oh, USA all the way. This is huge. This is great. This is so much fun. So NHL found something that worked. NBA's got to find something, because I turned that on last night, and 15 minutes later, I turned it off and didn't watch another second of it.
I may be wrong in this, but I've got a pretty standing policy. I'm not booing anybody else's anthem. I'm not booing the Belarus anthem. I'm not booing the Tajikistan anthem. I'm not booing the Russian anthem. I'm not booing anybody's anthem. What do you think it's going to be like Thursday night in Boston?
Oh, man. Thursday night in Boston, I believe Canada just won 4-0. So I think they're in the final. So USA, Canada again, it's going to be wild. I mean, Saturday was wild. Thursday's going to be, I think, even more wild.
My not top story, please don't freak out, Tiger fans. It was an overtime loss on the road in February in conference play. Now, there can't be another one, or there's no shot at a 5 or 6 or maybe even better seed. Went out, get to the AAC Conference Championship game, and I think a 5 maybe or a 6 for sure will be there to be had. Both tough games, though, for the Tigers this week. Only goal for the Tigers I had in the preseason was getting into the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
I keep that.
Yep.
I'm going to be pleased with that. I'm not going to share with people that are going to be mad about maybe not in a Sweet 16. They could. The bracket could break right, and they could. They could play like they played in a lot of games this year against really strong competition. But we felt this going a shaky way for a little while, and yesterday it manifested, but it was one loss on the road, and there may be another one. It can't be many more, though.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. But we talked
and
about
that's improvement over last year.
Oh, yeah. And we
remember what tournament the Tigers went to last year?
Oh, yeah.
None.
No tournament. And we talked about, last year it was they took a loss and then everything came undone and it was complete downhill spiral. And this year, they take a loss against Temple. They're able to bounce back. We'll see what they do now against Wichita. Last thing before we get to a break, the 2 updated brackets that I have looked at, the 2 kind of prominent ones that have come out. Bracket Wag, obviously Shelby Mast's bracket, that we'll talk to him here in about an hour. He has Memphis as a 6 seed, like you mentioned earlier, Brett, playing the winner of Vanderbilt and Wake Forest. That would be a Dayton game on the 11 line. Jerry Palm, he has Memphis as a 7 seed, has them playing Vanderbilt in the 7-10. So it looks like both those brackets having Memphis with an opportunity to play Vanderbilt. I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Not at all. And now with the committee's direction, with what they did Saturday and time and games being played, it's really going to start to codify a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's say Jerry Palm's right and it's Memphis against Vandy. Bring that on.
Yeah, I say bring
that on if you're a Tiger fan. Winner against Wisconsin, Cleveland State winner.
Yeah.
What in the world is Wisconsin doing scoring 94 points Saturday?
Not the Wisconsin basketball I know, Brett.
I couldn't believe that.
Came out of nowhere. A new
era. They used to winning 51-50.
That's right. No, they loved, if they could win scoring 52 points, they were all over that.
We'll do it in the next segment. But I'm going to make another point about Jerry Palm's bracket today, too.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get to that next. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we return, we'll talk more about the Tigers and their loss against Wichita State. That's next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Elwood Shack in the Lowe's parking lot on Summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Park across from the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwoods. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, even beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood even has a real coffee bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now with 2 locations and open every day for you.
Each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCMC church down Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still trying to clear up a couple of wrecks we had out here earlier. Still not bad right now as you come out of the Midtown area on 240 southbound at South Parkway, headed south of Memphis. That's looking pretty good right now. On 55 going southbound through South Haven down into DeSoto County. If your yard needs some help this time of the year, don't worry. Lawn Solutions has over 30 years experience. Call Lawn Solutions here in our area at 901 area code 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time. Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus and Memphis. Here are your hosts, Star Sports Movie and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We talked a lot about it in the first segment, but the Tigers, a loss on the road after on Saturday we learned they were not in the top 16 reveal by the NCAA. Now you look at some of the brackets. We'll talk to Shelby Mast in about an hour. He has them on the 6 line. Jerry Palm, who updated his bracket earlier today about 11 o'clock, he has Memphis on the 7 line playing Vanderbilt. Brett, you said you wanted to talk about something else with Jerry Palm and his newest bracket.
Let's say Jerry Palm is right on the money.
Yeah.
And he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And we mentioned Memphis Vandy play the winner of Wisconsin, Cleveland State. Fine. Bring all that on.
Yeah.
Top of the bracket.
Okay.
Ole Miss 6 seed against Wake Forest. And just for anybody that wants to know my worldview, no, I don't think Ole Miss should be ahead of Memphis. Seeded.
Yeah.
In Jerry's bracket, Shelby's bracket, or really if everything plays out about like it is now in 4 weeks from today when we have the brackets in front of us. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Is it 4 weeks from today that we have a bracket
That's
in front
right.
of us?
Yeah, it was 4 weeks from yesterday. Yeah. Is the selection show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. 3 weeks from
I had to take my shoes off to count, but I got to 4.
Yeah, 3 weeks from like middle of this week is when I guess conference tournaments start, right?
Okay.
So I mean, it's right around the corner.
All right, 4 weeks from now, if it all kind of continues on this path, Memphis loses 2 or 3 times. You know, I would like to reserve the right to change my opinion. But no, I would think the head-to-head and the rest of the body of the work and everything that goes into it, that should be flip-flop. But let's say Jerry Palm is right.
Sure.
Ole Miss 6 playing Wake Forest 11. Fine, bring it on.
Yeah.
Winner against Iowa State, Utah Valley. It'd be a really tough game against Iowa State.
Yeah, really tough.
Can you imagine, though, Ole Miss and Memphis in a Sweet 16 game? All right, first of all, at minimum, That means one of the two teams here locally
It's going to Sweet
would go to
16.
the Elite Eight.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they go to the Elite Eight. Yeah, you're right.
And what would be around that game?
Oh, man. If those two met in the Sweet 16, I mean, it would be madness building up to it. And you'd have the whole week building up to it.
You sure would.
That'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun.
Local TV may send the weather people to report live
Everybody,
from the NCAA tournament.
Everybody go there. We'll have
Everybody
wall-to-wall.
goes.
Instead of wall-to-wall weather, we'll have wall-to-wall tournament coverage.
Wall-to-wall weather in the tournament town.
That's right. Yes, yes. Tell me
Out
what
on
it's
the-
like in
out on
Milwaukee
the-
or wherever.
Out on the interstate,
That's
live,
right.
local, and late breaking.
It's great.
But that's a lot of basketball still to play, and that's why yesterday some of the freak out. What would you rank the freak out? 1 to 10, 10 being total meltdown day after Drexel. You weren't alive for that. Your parents could tell you.
Oh, yeah.
One
I've heard
being
the stories, Brett. Don't worry.
one being heck, the day after Arkansas State this year, which is about what it was to me.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a 5.5, 6. I mean, there was.
Okay, well that's kind of measured.
Yeah, but I mean, also, I don't know how much I was really paying attention to it because I wasn't feeling great. But so I would probably not be the right
The
person.
freak
to ask.
out to the top 16 was a little much, and then that was clammed up by the loss.
Sure.
If you had had a win yesterday, even in overtime, Tigers pulled that out in overtime, people were ready to ride over that Saturday.
It's crazy. That's insane. I mean,
I think so too, Brian. I don't get that because there's a lot of basketball
a lot of
to
basketball
play.
you played. I mean, it's the exact same thing about the people who freak out during college football season when we get our college football playoff rankings and this team should be in the top 12 and you have them at number 15. I mean, just win games and you keep improving.
I think I know where some of it comes from. It comes from kind of what you want the neighbors to think about us.
Sure.
And what you want the perception to be,
yeah,
way over
for
there.
sure.
Here's what it'll be. You keep on winning, you'll keep on improving.
Yeah.
In this conference, winning 8 in a row, look how it ticked up in AP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
Barely
that's a lot
winning a lot of those games.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that's a lot of it is people feeling like they're treated
what are
as
the
the
neighbors
little
gonna
guy,
think?
or they don't respect us because we're the little guy, and whatever. I told you on Friday, I don't really pay attention to that because I mean
Keep on chopping wood.
There's so much game. I mean, because what would have happened if Memphis had been in there? Okay, Memphis is number.
I can tell you.
13.
Should have been 12.
Yeah. Well, and then
Should have
you're
been
in there,
12.
You're in
Why aren't we
there,
12?
And you're happy or whatever. You're content about getting in there, and then next day you go out and lose to Wichita State. Then it's all for nothing. I mean, then you're not in there anymore. I mean, it's just play the games, and everything will work out based on the results of the game.
In yesterday's game, I thought it was going to be a fairly easy Tiger win. Tigers, we did Tiger bankroll. We used the number 7.5. I took Memphis for a low amount, but I thought Memphis would win the game.
Well, you're playing defense now, Brett. I mean, you've got it built up. You're just trying to
But
keep
I want
that
to add
distance.
to it. I sure didn't take Memphis because I thought they'd lose.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I took Memphis, and you could almost tell from the beginning it was going to be close. Memphis did get a pretty good working margin.
Yeah.
At one point in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, they started trying to pull away from that, but it just, it goes back to kind of that poor shooting last in that game yesterday. I mean, it just never felt like the way they were shooting that they were really going to be able to stretch out, and then they didn't. Wichita State gets some momentum, and then next thing you know, they're right back in it.
And I go to almost the first thing I look at now in a college basketball box score is 3-pointers. How many did you make?
Yeah.
Well, Memphis made 10. My number around 9 or 10. I think you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Held Wichita State to 4 makes. Now, one was a killer.
Sure. That
From way
one
downtown.
was crazy. I mean, but
He made it from Topeka.
he did, and again, a 30% free throw or a 3-point shooter should make that shot, but goes in when they needed it to, and that's what happened. But you're right. You look at that and it's crazy because we talked about it last week. You make 9, you certainly make double digits in college basketball. You feel pretty good. You feel even better when you make double digits and you hold your opponent to 4 made 3-pointers. But yesterday
only 10 turnovers for the Tigers. Kind of been a bugaboo. Wichita State only made 8. Fouls were the same on each side. 18-18. Yep. People want to blame the referees, which is about the biggest hack place to go ever.
Yeah, I didn't see much in terms of officiating there yesterday, but
my question whether it was at Rice or it was yesterday in Wichita. Let's go the extra Tim Donaghy conspiracy.
Sure.
Dealey Plaza, Zapruder film, 25,000 miles of conspiracy. You ready?
Okay.
And the AAC's got it in for Memphis. Why?
Why
in the world
doesn't make any
would
sense. You'd think it'd be the opposite. You'd think they would want to put Memphis on a pedestal and have them easily waltz through the conference and be a 3 seed or a 4 seed, and then have everyone say, "Oh, who's that 3 seed right there? Oh, they're from the American. Yeah, what a conference."
Do you look at Dane Danger, 4 points, 1 rebound? 1 rebound. That's 1 above what Larry Finch used to say a dead man could get. Zero.
One more than what we got yesterday, Brad. I mean, sitting on our couches.
Right. He flew all the way to Wichita to get 1 rebound.
1 rebound.
But Tiger post play got 15 rebounds and 16 points.
Yeah, that was the thing yesterday.
How do you look at it? You look at it, Dane Danger, kind of the individual, or do you look at it in the broad team? Post play had a good day in Wichita.
Yeah, I think you look at it in the broad, especially with how good Dane Danger has been playing. I mean, he has been so good. It feels like every game we come in here since he's been starting, go, man, look at what Dane did in that game. He was fantastic, and so it was a little worrisome. It was for sure worrisome to see only 20 minutes, 4 points, 1 rebound. You kind of thought maybe there was an injury there after the game. Didn't sound like there was anything. Just kind of weren't playing well. But you were able to have Nicholas Jourdain step in, 12.6 rebounds. You were able to have Moussa Cisse come off the bench, play nearly 30 minutes, get that double-double, 12 points, 14 rebounds. And so I think you look at it maybe a little bit of a mismatch. Quincy Ballard comes in and, feels like he's having his way, feels like he's just a little more physical in that game, and you shift and you let those other bigs. So yeah, I mean, I think you look at it as bigs were fine, Dane was off, but you were able to supplement that with a really good game from Nicholas Jourdain and a really good game from Moussa Cisse.
And Wichita State's had a good plan for Memphis. Handled them down at AAC tournament last year and played them closely. In the previous matchup at FedEx Forum.
Yeah, and that was the one we talked about that on Friday of just a game where pretty much all night Memphis was down and trying to play from behind, and ended up in that final 6 minutes or so able to mount that comeback, ended up winning by 7 or 8 points. So it looked a little better than it really felt all of that game. I think the other thing that you look at in that game yesterday and in the game here against in Memphis against Wichita State, Colby Rogers, these revenge games, we kind of talked about it. Moussa Cisse against Ole Miss had a really good game in that revenge game. PJ Haggerty against Tulsa, a really good revenge game. But then Colby Rogers against his former team just really has struggled yesterday. 6 points, 2 for 8 from the field, 2 for 5 for 3. You had that last second where they tried to get the ball to, I guess it was at the end of, end of regulation. They tried to get the ball to PJ. Wichita State was ready for it, and so Colby just kind of had to improvise, got a 3 attempt.
It didn't get a good handle on it.
No.
Didn't look cleanly handled.
Didn't look clean at all, and defense just clamped up on
stuck
on
in
PJ.
the corner.
Yeah, and just kind of moved to
Tough
that
shot.
corner. It was a tough shot.
And they were all over him.
They were. I mean, it was really good defense, and you're right, the crowd was from the start. I mean, I saw Jason Munn's, his tweet before the game even started of Colby Rogers just got announced in the starting lineup, and it's loud boos for him. So
and that's going to go with the territory.
Yeah.
And I love him so much. But they asked Bruce Pearl about Aiden Holloway, the big-time player that played last year at Auburn, transferred
really good
to
player.
Alabama, wasn't happy with playing time and things, and made a change.
Sure.
And they asked Bruce Pearl about it, and he gave a great answer. He goes, look, in this football crazy state, imagine the top quarterback in the state,
Yeah.
him doing that. And
Yeah.
how do you think it's going to be received?
Oh, not well.
Not well.
at all. So, yeah, I mean,
And we have to get used to that in this mercenary free agent NIL world.
we do. And you're going to see it. I mean, heck, Nicholas Jourdain, when Memphis went up to Temple, he's now this is his second year away from Temple and was getting, traitor chants this year at Temple. So, I mean, it comes with the territory in this day and age of college athletics. When you can move freely, you're going to get that, especially from the student section. I mean,
I know at South Carolina, just every time Juice Wells got near reception, the crowd was going crazy.
I believe it. They're ready for it.
They are, and it happens. Tiger Bankroll, I talked about my loss, $15 loss for me. You had Wichita.
Sure
you
did.
kicked out of the Alumni Association, but you won $50.
Finally a win. I mean, I feel like I haven't had a win in forever.
Darian had Wichita. He's 16-10 now on the year. Connor had Memphis. He drops to 16-10.
Oh, wow. All right.
I still lead on the cash, but it's tight. We got a race.
The two leaders, both taking the Tigers and both taking
we
taking
did.
a loss.
I put in my little $15 bid, and then I saw Connor's pick, and I loved it.
Yeah. It felt really good. You're like, I'll ride with the hot hand, but
And the
not so
Tigers will
much.
be favored pretty decidedly next Sunday at FedEx Forum against FAU.
They absolutely will be. Especially the way they won that game on the road against FAU, and with this week off that they'll have to kind of regroup and settle down before.
Anybody calling this week a bye week?
I haven't heard anybody.
Just
but
open week, right?
A lot of week left for people to start labeling that, but we'll see. I mean, I think off the loss, I think a good time for this stretch coming. I'll add this. Tyrese Hunter after the game, Jason Munns had this video, actually, not even just the quote. He had the video of it, and he asked Tyrese, how do you think the team is going to respond after this loss? And Tyrese Hunter, the veteran leader, has been around college basketball for a while now, did not skip a beat. He said, I'm going to make sure that we respond well as a team. We're not going to let this loss dictate us. We're not going to let it get us down. I'm going to make sure that we bounce back from this. And so I think this team has good leadership in that locker room to be able to bounce back from these games.
Now, the other side of that is, and I do not think this side is going to happen. I think what you just laid out is going to happen, and that's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
If Memphis were to lose two more times somewhere, let's say to UAB and somewhere, one at home, one of the others on the road, and at the same time North Texas and UAB won out, and they don't face each other, I don't think.
I don't think so. I'll have to double check, but I don't think
Tigers could finish third.
Yeah, and that'd be another one. I mean, it'd be another year where you don't win the conference in the regular season.
Just with one to UAB.
Yeah.
And North Texas went out, could finish second.
Oh, you're right. Let's see. UAB. Yeah, no, UAB and North Texas do not play again this year. So they are done. So Memphis plays
That's
UAB.
the downside of a lot of basketball left.
A lot of basketball left, but we'll see how they respond. Week off, and we'll see on Sunday how they respond.
Let's call it a bye week.
I don't want to.
I don't know what they buy into.
Nothing. It's not. It's just an off
I mean,
week.
it's a scheduled game Sunday.
Yes, exactly, and just no game during the week. So it's no bye there. But we'll see how they respond. But let's get to another break, and when we return, the committee revealed their top 16 teams, the top 4 seeds. If the bracket was released on Saturday, we got that over the weekend, and we'll talk about that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes some special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and garden videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid before 15/25 taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase a single line global limited plan or higher. For network payments and practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
I'm Sean Sewer with XMC Technologies, your local source for the best in office technology for over 30 years. We believe that being a technology partner means meeting our clients' needs as they change over time. That's why I'm happy to share that we are now Visual Edge IT. As cyber attacks continue to be a growing threat, our customers are asking for more cybersecurity and ransomware protection. For more information on how to protect your office, visit us at visualedgeit.com or call us locally 901-737-8910.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We talked a lot about the Tigers and their loss against Wichita State. Now we got to talk about the top 16 reveal from the NCAA committee. It was revealed Saturday morning. Here's how it looks. The top 16 overall seeds: number 1, Auburn; number 2, Alabama; number 3, Duke; number 4, Florida. Those are your number 1 seeds. 5, Tennessee; 6, A&M; 7, Purdue; 8, Houston. Those would be the 2. 9, Iowa State; 10, Kentucky; 11, Wisconsin; 12, Arizona. That would be the 3s. And then finally the 4s. Number 13, Texas Tech; 14, Michigan; 15, Kansas; and 16, St. John's.
Out and did anything to hurt their case immediately Saturday, did they?
I don't think so.
What did Kansas end up doing Saturday night?
Kansas ended up losing.
Okay,
So that would hurt.
That would have.
Yeah.
That because I'm trying to think of if Memphis had won,
Right.
and the outrage that was going to be at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Kansas definitely hurt their case. They lost to Utah. On the road.
And Utah's not very good.
No,
11 lost Utah, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not a good Utah team. Kansas has been struggling.
They are.
That's 2 of their last 3 losses, 3 of their last 5 losses. So, yeah, they're kind of struggling right now. But I don't think anybody else really hurt their case.
Do we know if there is a next reveal?
I have no clue.
We'll
I have
ask
no
David.
idea. We will ask Dave. David will know, but I'm not smart enough to know when all the reveals are. Obviously, I know with football, we get it every week. Where it's forced down our throats every week. But
You know what? I kind of liked
basketball.
it better than I thought it would watching it Saturday.
Really? Okay. What did you like about it?
That we have some direction, and it's not from, it's not from Pat Forty. It's not from, Mr. College
Sure.
Guru. It's from the committee chair.
Yeah, and even I love
His name's on it.
Yeah, I love all of the bracketologists and all of getting the bracketology every Tuesday and Friday or whatever.
And
it
now
is.
they have direction.
Exactly, but this is them telling us and telling those bracketologists, hey, here's what we're looking at, here's how we're viewing it, and so yeah, I mean, I like that a lot better than
certainly
just
if everybody
guessing.
had won, Kansas being
Sure.
but that how could that not be your vote if you vote in AP?
Yeah.
How could you not go right down that?
Right. Just that should be it should be the easiest week of AP voting because you just go 1 through 16. Here you go, and then all you got to figure out is 17 through 25.
It's the open book assignment of all time.
That's right. Hey, the NCAA already told me who's number 1 through 16. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I mean, you're just begging to be different.
Yes. And I'm sure there was a lot of. I would love to. Now that you said that, I would love to look at this and then go and compare it to the AP voters and see how different the
Now,
top 16
again, Kansas being the exception, they
Sure.
went out in a loss.
Sure, Kansas, and then Alabama could drop us. Would flip them with
Yeah.
Florida or Duke. Obviously, losing to the number 1 seed.
I'm
But-
trying to find AP. So today, AP, Auburn's 1. They were 1 Saturday.
Yep.
Florida 2.
Yep.
Duke 3. Bama 4. Houston 5. Tennessee is 6. And Texas A&M 7. Iowa State 8. Texas Tech 9. Tell me when there's a big difference.
Well, the big difference already. Houston 8. What'd you have them 5?
AP's
have them
5.
So it's not a huge difference, but it's a couple spots, 3 spots. I mean,
Yeah, I think.
not crazy. I mean,
Yeah. St. John's 10.
there you go. St. John's 16 in the NCAA. That's
Was-
a 6th spot. That's pretty big.
And that's down 1 in AP from the week before.
Oh, wow.
Wisconsin 11, Michigan 12, Purdue 13, Michigan State 14, Missouri 15.
Purdue 7 in the top 16. You said they were 13 in the AP, so that's another kind of big
Marquette
difference.
16 in AP.
Marquette 16, and Marquette.
I mean, when they're telling
even
you
in there.
Purdue is 7,
Yeah. I think Purdue might have lost over the weekend. Let's see, what did Purdue do over the weekend? Yeah, Purdue lost to Wisconsin. Not a
Okay.
terrible loss,
Yeah,
but, you know,
and gave up
AP
all those
obviously
points.
would be, and gave up all those points. But AP obviously coming out today and this being on Saturday, so I understand the difference there.
I do too.
Them being down, I definitely understand that. So yeah, I would say Purdue and Kansas, the two that obviously drop, and obviously Alabama going down 2 spots makes sense. Others, yeah, I would put them right where the committee said to put them.
Bama lost by 9, it felt like 25.
Oh, I mean, it felt like Auburn was in control of that entire game. I mean, there never felt like a moment, even when Alabama tied the game or, came back and made it a 1-2 point game, it never felt like Alabama was even in control of that game. I mean, it was
Ole Miss
Auburn
lost
all
by
night.
10, and it felt like 20.
Again, kind of same thing. Mississippi State went in there and it felt like they controlled that entire game.
If you watch those 2 games, you know who the better teams.
Oh, yeah. And you knew it early. I mean, those teams, especially Auburn. I mean, Auburn was absolutely dominant on the road. And, I mean, you looked, I think a lot of people thought Alabama being at home, the environment that was going to be on Saturday, tough. It's going to be a tough test for Auburn. And Auburn had no issue with it.
I'm trying to think. LSU certainly would fit this. Tennessee for sure would. And that's probably it in the SEC, especially in the long-time SEC. How they will feel, Tennessee, especially with Bruce Pearl, Auburn winning a national championship before they did in basketball.
Yeah, no, that's that'd be tough. And
Georgia, they kind of
sure.
Mississippi State and Ole Miss,
whatever,
A&M,
sure. But I mean, yeah.
Vandy even.
I mean, Bruce Pearl being the first coach in 1 versus 2 to win at 2 different programs. I mean, that was
Did
cool
it
to
here
see on
in 08.
Saturday. Yeah, and then doing
They
it.
didn't play so well
Okay.
that next game out at Tennessee
No,
in 08.
no, they didn't. Well, it lost to Vanderbilt. So I guess we'll see who's next for Auburn. That might be the game to look at. Let's see, Auburn. Oh, Arkansas.
On the Plains.
Yeah. So
I think Tennessee went to Vandy.
I think that's
that year.
right. I think that was a road game for them. But still, Arkansas, maybe they have something. Those awful uniforms there for Texas A&M. I mean, they should have been disqualified from that game.
It was an
started.
Adidas thing.
It was
around.
everybody.
Did you see Indiana Friday night?
I saw Indiana, and then who was the other team that I saw rocking them? There was another team, maybe Texas Tech. I think I saw them rocking them. But yeah, all the Adidas school wearing them. All those teams should have been disqualified.
I felt for the memory of Bobby Knight seeing that Friday night.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, the pageantry of Indiana basketball, just how bad the program is, and then wearing those jerseys. Really, really bad. Adidas, rethink that one. But
Adidas has never made a cool-looking anything.
No. Adidas, I guess trying to think outside the box didn't work with these uniforms. Those were really bad. Well, we need to wrap up this hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking a whole lot of college basketball with David Cobb.
so excited.
I had a feeling you'd be excited.
That doesn't even begin to describe how I feel about the new Central Barbecue location on Central.
Well, technically, it's the same location.
Same location, but a very different Central Barbecue on Central.
I get what you're saying, but I don't want to confuse people. The new Central Barbecue location on Central is the same place as the old Central Barbecue on Central.
But it's so much more. It's big, for one thing.
It is a whole lot bigger. Well, I mean, I think it has to be.
Because everybody in Memphis is going to be flocking to the new Central Barbecue location on Central.
Where the old Central Barbecue on Central used to be.
Details.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. You know, I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
You know, we're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
To be invested with Betterment is to believe in better, whether it's saving for today or building wealth for tomorrow. We help people and small businesses put their money to work. We automate to make saving simpler. We optimize to make investing smarter. We build innovative technology backed by financial experts. For anyone who's ever said, "I think I can do better," so be invested in better with Betterment. Get started at Betterment.com. Investing involves risk, performance not guaranteed.
Registration fees, taxes, and dealer doc fee of $899.50, which are to be paid by the consumer. Example, stock number SC1264070, MSRP $48,840, dealer discount $4,000, $2,000 customer cash, $3,000 bonus cash, sale price $39,840, interest starts at date of purchase on approved credit, expires 3/3/25.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Traffic's on the increase even more in the last few minutes through the Midtown area on 240 southbound at Norris as traffic cranks up over here around Mill Branch, going eastbound on 240 all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. If your lawn needs some help, don't worry. Lawn Solutions is here to help you. Give them a call with over 30 years experience. Lawn Solutions. That telephone number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sportstime is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now to talk some college basketball and college football. You can read all his work over at CBS Sports. Not to be confused with New Mexico State's assistant coach, David Cobb, because, David, I hear you're getting a lot of film, a lot of recruits hitting you up, wanting you to take a look at their film. Anything that popped out to you?
I've been perusing a lot of huddle tape. I've been seeing some really impressive 40 times that I think need to be laser verified, because some of these high school kids, they're telling me 40 times that I think Usain Bolt would be jealous of.
I believe it.
So that raises some red flags. But it's crazy. I put that message out. Hey guys, please stop DMing me. I'm not who you think I am. I'm not the New Mexico State assistant coach, David Cobb. And since then, I've still gotten about 5 or 6 DMs from high school football prospects who apparently did not read that tweet. So I guess the case of mistaken identity will continue.
I guess so.
David, you didn't realize that every high school lineman ran a better 40 time than the best one that will be at the Indianapolis in a few weeks for the NFL?
It's amazing. These linemen, they're running 4.7 40s, and they've got 4.2 GPAs.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I can't even. Yeah.
On a 4-point scale.
I know. It's like, yeah, their GPAs and their 40 times are both around
Yeah.
the same neighborhood, which is incredibly impressive. So no, it's like all these guys should be going to Stanford, right?
Yeah.
It makes you realize though how you got to cipher through and really have some discernment as a high school or as a college coach, because you're getting flooded with all this tape and all these guys, and you actually have to be the one to interpret. Okay, is this guy really a Division I caliber football player? So it's been insightful for me, because now I see on a small scale what it's like to be on a college football staff, because I'm sure the ones who are accidentally sending tape to me are only a fraction of the ones who are actually getting in touch with the other David Cobb. So you got 600 DMs a week probably from these high school kids, and you got to figure out who's who and who's actually good.
And David, if you think those players think they can run that 40 time, wait till you talk to their dads.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They are Usain Bolt.
There's a lot of T. Morants out there. That's what you're saying.
Yes, there are.
There's a lot of self-believing parents. That's for sure. David, what was the biggest story in college basketball this weekend? The 16-team reveal or play on the court?
Well, I would say, though, the play on the court, because how often do we get a number one versus number two?
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, a number one versus number two within a conference, and then within a state, no less.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it was Kansas versus Kansas State or Duke versus North Carolina or Kentucky versus Louisville. It was Alabama versus Auburn in basketball, center stage, ESPN College Game Day, Jay Billis, Dan Schulman, packed arena, and it was a pretty good game. It wasn't as good as Tennessee Memphis back in the day, but it was a competitive game, and it was further proof of the fact that Bruce Pearl has the best team in college basketball. So maybe on another weekend, I'd have said the 16-team reveal was the most insightful thing, or most impactful thing of the weekend. But man, just the rarity of that moment and that spectacle in Tuscaloosa, I thought was pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Pearl is in a league with very few others right now in college basketball, and it's ahead of Nate Oates.
Yeah, but Oates is right there. I mean, when I think about the best coaches in college basketball right now, both those guys are easily top 10. Yeah, easily. And when I think about guys who might go the Brad Stevens, Billy Donovan route, guys who have taken college basketball by storm and who have the sort of disposition necessary to thrive in the NBA, I think about Nate Oates. And Bruce Pearl, I think, is a better college basketball coach, but look at the rah-rah stuff before the game, right? That's what separates Bruce. He's great schematically, and he's gotten a lot better since he was at Tennessee, but I think it's the emotion and the passion and the ability to inspire and motivate players in a level that is unique to college basketball, and so I think that's what separates Bruce right now from the rest of the pack. Because if you kind of listen to the pregame messaging from Oates, it was like, oh well, don't make this game any bigger than any other game. We're going to prepare for it like it's any other game. And meanwhile, Bruce Pearl is out there basically saying, are you kidding? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's number one versus number two in the Iron Bowl, for crying out loud. And, I think he was able to motivate his guys, and that resonated clearly out of the gates because they put a whooping on Alabama from the start.
Which makes it more historically catastrophic that there were people here that did not want to reach out to Bruce Pearl, and some did, but there were others that didn't, to replace John Calipari. And there were some of the same people didn't want anything to do with Scott Drew. They wanted Josh Pastner over Bruce Pearl or Scott Drew.
Well,
how would you like to have to live with that?
I mean, I can't imagine. Everything at that time, though, was like, protect the recruiting class. And it's like, okay, you know what? You might take a year hit. The guys might follow Calipari to Kentucky. The recruiting class might fall apart, which it did. Even when you kept Pastner. But look 5 years down the line. Obviously, I think what you have to do in a coaching search, and now it's like you can flip it so fast, you don't even have to look that far down the road. You can flip an entire program in 2 months, if you get the right amount of NIL and the right coach. But, Bruce, what he's done is nothing short of spectacular. There are a lot, guys. There are a lot of coaches you could make the case for oh, they should be National Coach of the Year. Like, I'll listen. There's 10 or 15 names who you could argue for right now. Totally fine with that. But I think Bruce Pearl, I mean, look at Auburn's resume and look at what he's doing there. I mean, come on. I think Bruce Pearl, barring a collapse here, is your National Coach of the Year.
Yeah. David, you talk about the recruiting going down. The Four Kings of Memphis would like to have a word. I mean, that was a special time under Coach Josh Pastner.
Not one, not two, not three, but went full LeBron James, Four Kings.
Well, we still don't know. It might have been 3 Kings, 4 Kings. We don't know how
many
kings
kings.
there were. There were a handful of kings. So going back to this game and really the domination by Auburn on the road against Alabama. You looked at the betting lines and Alabama at home, a 1.5-point favorite going into that game. You knew it was going to be a wild environment. What did that tell you about this Auburn team that they were able to go in there and really control the game from the opening tip?
Well, I thought it was a credit to their defense because they make it really hard to score at the rim, and then they also have the best three-point shooting defense in the SEC. Well, guess where Alabama scores? They score at the rim, and they score from beyond the arc. They don't take any mid-range jump shots, and that's what Auburn wants to dare you to do. And Alabama refused to accept the dare, and therefore played right into the hands of what Auburn is good at defensively. And then Auburn taking care of the basketball. You didn't let Alabama get out in transition and make a bunch of threes in transition where the defense wasn't set, because that's another way that you get in trouble against Alabama. So I thought the defensive effort was pretty spectacular. And then what's so unique about Auburn is the depth. And you could say this truthfully about Alabama too, because even on nights when Mark Sears is not great, Alabama has 7 or 8 guys who can really contribute and help. But Auburn is like that, but even to a greater degree. Because, yes, Janai Broome is a deserving National Player of the Year candidate, but for long stretches of that game, he was a non-factor. He came off late in the second half. It looked like he had aggravated his ankle, and they were up by 3. Well, when he checked back in about 4 minutes later, I think they were up by 8. Well, what other team in America loses their National Player of the Year candidate on the road in a top 5 matchup in a close game for 4 minutes in a pivotal stretch and then extends the lead by 5 points with him on the bench? Yeah. I mean, so that's what's crazy about Auburn is the depth of not just like, oh, we trust 9 guys. No, they have 9 guys who can literally go out there and play at an all-SEC type of level, and that's what separates them.
Mm-hmm. David, Memphis took a loss to Wichita State yesterday morning. What did you see in that loss for Memphis? What did that loss mean for the Tigers?
Yeah, I think when Tyrese Hunter and P.J. Haggerty and Dane Danger combined to shoot, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the 3 of them couldn't have shot better than 25% as a trio. Yeah. It was when those 3 are that off offensively on the same night, you're not going to win a lot of games. I mean, and that's why I'm not all that worried about it. Yeah, I mean, from a seeding standpoint, every loss kills you. I get that. But in terms of like, oh, do I now recalibrate what I expect from Memphis? Not really, because I don't necessarily believe there is going to be a whole lot of times when all 3 of those guys are having bad nights at the same time. I mean, how often has that happened this season? Very, very infrequently, if ever, until Sunday. So I'm not pressing that panic button, but it is disconcerting because on a weekend where not only were you not in the top 16 of the bracket reveal, when they asked Bubba Cunningham, the selection committee chair, who were the first couple of teams that you had to leave out, he didn't mention Memphis. He mentioned Marquette, and he mentioned Michigan State. Mm-hmm. So you don't even know for sure if you're on the 5 line going into the weekend. Now you take another quad 3 loss. It's like, well, if we weren't even a 5, we got to, maybe we were a 6, and now we got another quad 3 loss. So what are we at, 7 now? I mean, all of a sudden you're doing the math in your head, and it's like, well, geez, I mean, how many losses are we away from being on the bubble? I mean, so it's an uncomfortable position.
You tell us how many.
I think if they lost 3 more games, you might start to see Memphis, in the bubble talk.
All right. Let's play the 3 scenario. 2 more regular season and 1 before. Well, only would be 1, I guess, on that Friday in Fort Worth. So 1 before the finals, or maybe Saturday. We go with that. Go with 2 more regular season losses, probably both on the road. Let's say. Well, gosh, I was going to say on the road at UAB and UTSA. I can't do it. Home against FAU and road against UAB, and losing the semis on Saturday. Is it white knuckles on Sunday?
Could be. The bubble is mushy. I mean, they got to find 68 teams to put in here, and you're not going to find many who have wins over Clemson, Michigan State, UConn, Mississippi State. Ole Miss, not Mississippi State. But the list goes on. You're not going to find many bubble teams out there who have those victories. So it then becomes, unless the committee just has it.
Games.
I don't think they will. I'd be surprised if they have a performance where all three of their star offensive players are simultaneously struggling. So I think the comfort that you take is when you go and look at the bubble, regardless of which bracketologist you subscribe to. I mean, there's some teams out there that are still on the right side of the bubble that are really struggling right now.
Bad bubble.
And so, Memphis at worst is going to probably share the AAC regular season title, and they did all that work in November and December. So I think they're pretty safe. It's just, it's tough when every loss dings you as much as a loss in the AAC does.
Penny Hardaway says that when he loses in conference, his losses are more scrutinized than any other coaches. Do you believe that?
Well, sure, because you're losing against teams that are 200 in the net. I mean, I don't think they're being scrutinized more heavily because it's Penny. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I mean, you could have John Doe coaching Tigers, but if you lose to in what is perceived to be inferior opposition, then the penalty for that is going to be harsher. That's just the grim reality of how bad the AAC is in basketball. And so,
mentioned previously was Josh Pastner. I think his reaction to Penny Hardaway would be, "Welcome to being coach at Memphis."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's tough. It's tough. They're a good team, but they're not so hyper elite that they can just run the table and just wipe the floor with everybody in this conference. And so, it's the Super Bowl effect, right? Like Wichita State, that was as big of a game for Wichita State basketball as there has been in years. That program has been walking through the wilderness, and all of a sudden they get a top 15 coming into their home gym when they've won 3 games in a row. And now all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is what Wichita State basketball could be. The crowd's into it. Like, our guys are really dialed in and playing hard. And, meanwhile, Memphis is like, gosh, we've been at this for 6 weeks just trying to grind through this league play, getting everybody's best shot. So, like, it's an unenviable position. I don't really think that being a Memphis basketball fan during AAC play is probably a whole lot of fun because you're just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, I mean, it's every game. You're just holding on. Switching gears a little bit, going to the SEC, LSU got the big win over the weekend over Oklahoma, a team that you talk about teams that could be on the bubble. Oklahoma starting to look a little shaky, especially after that loss. Today, LSU committed to keeping Matt McMahon as their head coach going into next year, and also said that they would be improving their NIL for the basketball program. You look at the 2 teams at the bottom of the SEC, LSU and South Carolina, are also the 2 lowest NIL budgets, smallest NIL budgets in the conference. We talk about it all the time. It feels like you see teams make a change at head coach, and then before hiring the next guy, they make that commitment to improving the NIL. Now, LSU committing to the coach that they already have, but saying, yeah, we got to do better and give you more NIL money to get a more competitive team. What did you make of that move?
Well, honestly, I'm a little surprised because I don't think Matt McMahon would have a significant buyout. And so, you could potentially part with him and then go hire somebody else, and then generate a lot of booster excitement and then generate fundraising that way by, hey, look, we got this new guy, right? Like, come and donate, right? So it's harder to get people to donate to a program that they don't believe in.
Yeah.
But I do like Matt McMahon. He coached John Morant at Murray State and had it rolling at Murray State. He is a good basketball coach.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that he's now going to get the NIL resources that he needs to field a competitive roster, it makes me excited to see what he can do. Genuinely, I am just surprised that they chose to take that approach. And I'm glad they did for Matt McMahon's sake, because I do think he deserves a shot on a level playing field. Because if you remember when he took over from Will Wade, there were some sanctions there. There were some clouds over that program that made it really difficult to get off the ground.
Yep.
And he struggled to get off the ground. So now the fact that he's coming out of year 3, they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. They didn't make it last year. They didn't make it his first year. And the fact that he's going to get year 4, it makes him a little bit of an outlier. But I think the administration is recognizing, one, the circumstances that he started the job in, and then 2, the NIL landscape. Because you go and look at that roster, and you compare it to the rest of the SEC, there's clearly a financial delineation between what LSU has and what basically every other school in the conference has, and you give McMahon a chance to go out there and land some big fish. I think you could see them be competitive real quick.
David, another week of a big Ross Dellinger report, a meeting coming up soon between the Big Ten and the SEC. I think they have crafted it to where they're going to get automatic qualifiers, 4 each, reportedly by Ross, that they will demand from a 14-team field. If it goes to 16, probably the same thing with a little more shot at large teams, but 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 2 Big 12, 2 from the ACC, kind of a spot reserved for Notre Dame and a spot for the group of 5. What do you think of that?
I guess I'm okay with it. I mean, we're being honest. The Big Ten and the SEC have accumulated enough of the good teams, or so many of the good teams in college football, that honestly it doesn't seem too unfair. What irritates me more than anything is that the conference structure in college football is so out of balance, and that it's geographically misaligned. It's skewed massively in favor of the Big Ten and the SEC. And so now you try to create a postseason structure that incorporates all of it when none of it is even or equal to begin with. There is going to be no perfect answer, but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think we can all acknowledge the fact that the Big Ten and the SEC probably deserve half the spots, right? Like, am I crazy?
No.
I think it's pretty well established at this point. Yeah, okay. The SEC
probably could argue more.
Bad year football this past year. Well, look at the past 15, right? So it's about more than just what you did in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to David Cobb, he joins us every single week to talk college basketball and college football. David, it feels like we have this conversation really the last 2, maybe even 3 years about Kansas basketball. They're so good, they're playing well, and then they hit a rough patch. Kind of on that rough patch right now. Loss over the weekend against Utah. Now you look up 3 of their last 5 losses. What do you make of the current state, at least right now, of this Kansas basketball team?
It just feels a little stale, doesn't it? Like the DeJuan Harris, KJ Adams, Hunter Dickinson thing has sort of run its course, which is kind of sad because in today's college sports, it's so rare that you get the continuity of your core, and you'd like to think that if you're able to keep a nucleus intact, it's going to lead you to great success. And DeJuan Harris has been there for 5 years, and KJ Adams, but then now the fans are trying to push him out to give Flory Badunga more minutes, and it just feels stale right now at Kansas. Like they need a roster flip, to be honest. Like, I mean, Hunter Dickinson's a great player, but it's turned out that he's not the type of player who you can build a national championship team around. Mm-hmm. He needs to be the second or third best player, not the best player. And right now he is, for better or worse, their best player. And I don't think that he's a good enough best player to lead them to where they want to go and where we thought they might be when they were ranked the number 1 team in the preseason. So I never just close the door entirely on Kansas making a run or making a rally. They struggled a little bit down a stretch in their national title season 3 years ago, and yet found a way. So I'm not slamming the door on that altogether, but clearly it's not Bill Self's best work.
If Auburn's number 1, everybody concedes Auburn's number 1 team. Who's 2, Dave?
I would actually still go with Duke. I mean, they're only lost in 2 months or however long is at Clemson. I mean, Clemson's a good team, good program, good home court environment. I don't think they should be dinged too much for that loss. And they've got. I think Cooper Flagg is the best player in the sport. I think Janai Broom's not 100% healthy. Mm-hmm. Coming back from that ankle injury, there's just something a little bit off. And I think he's fighting through an injury that a lot of guys wouldn't fight through. I think he's playing when some guys might say, no, I need to shut it down. And so I credit Janai Broom for that. But because of that, I think it's kind of allowed Cooper Flagg to step up and take that player of the year race by the horns. And it's not just him. The supporting cast is awesome. So Duke would still get my vote. But, I mean, look, Alabama, Auburn, or Alabama, Florida right there for sure. in the mix. Houston's probably in the mix too. My problem with Houston is they're great. They're a great team. I care about resume though, and they have a lot of losses, like close losses. And to me, they're losses are losses, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really matter to me that the efficiency margins are there for them or whatever. It's just a matter of like that they haven't stacked the high caliber wins that I really want to see to call a team the second best in the nation.
Yeah, and you talk about that Duke loss against Clemson. I mean, like you said, a loss is a loss, but you had an opportunity at the end of that game to either tie it or take the lead, and you had, you had a turnover and gave them the ball back. So, I mean, it was a super close game in their one loss in a while. Last thing for you, David, tonight, Arizona on the road against Baylor. You look up now Arizona, who had been playing really well in Big 12 play, back-to-back losses now on the road against a Baylor team unranked. Feels weird looking up and seeing Baylor unranked after the last 4 or 5 years. It feels like every single week they're in the top 25. What do you think about this game tonight?
Yeah, if you like offense, it'll be a really fun game.
Yeah.
VJ Edgecombe, he can get buckets for Baylor. I'd expect him to get 20 or 25 tonight. And then, I mean, you never know what you're going to get from Caleb Love at Arizona. It's a wild ride every time. And then they've got a draft prospect. I think this will be a game that a lot of scouts are keeping a close eye on. Arizona's got a guy. He's not putting up crazy numbers, but he's going to be one of these people who we're hearing a lot about in 2 months when the draft is upon us. His name is Carter Bryant, and he's a big wing who can shoot the three, but he hustles. He plays defense. Who knows where / if the Grizzlies will end up drafting this year? But he's one of those like guys in the 20s who a lot of scouts are starting to like. So keep an eye on him in that game. Should be a good one.
Yeah, that should be really fun later tonight on ESPN. David, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Monday.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. David Cobb with us every Monday from CBS Sports on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, talking college basketball and college football. That Ross Dellinger story will really hit a lot bigger when it's finally revealed, and as we get closer to some college football season. But remember, this contract runs out after this year. They've got to start making those plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean,
it's a little late.
We can't just kind of lackadaisical, hang out in these meetings. We got to get stuff moving if we want it in there.
Yeah, this can't just be a handshake and what's going on meeting.
Hey, guys, how's the off-season been?
Because you got to get TV, and I'm sure it'll
exactly.
be under the existing ESPN, or not the existing, but with ESPN, with room for it. The SEC going to 9. Will you believe it when you see it?
Yeah, probably.
I got to see it, though.
Yeah.
I've heard for about nine league games for a while.
You have, and it just feels like, it'd be great, but I'll believe it when I see it.
And the Ross Dellinger story, 9 league games for the SEC, and the SEC and the Big Ten in a scheduling partnership that a non-conference game would be played every year. So what I would imagine would happen in that year that you had 4 home SEC games and 5 on the road, you would get that Big Ten game at home and vice versa.
That'd be a lot of fun. I'd be all in for that.
And it would make these season ticket packages better. Yeah. So that's 10 of your 12 games.
Yeah.
That leaves you 2.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think I think it's criminal to charge people to go see an FCS opponent.
Yeah, but I bet if you go to 9 conference games and a Big Ten game in there, it's going to be a whole lot of the Citadels and Furman on that schedule.
I would hope it would be find somebody from FBS to play,
right,
and then the other one somebody from the neighborhood.
Sure.
Now I will go SEC Bigfoot on this with 9 league games and that Big Ten game. Everybody from the neighborhood, if you want to play, it's all got to be at our stadium.
Yeah. But I don't mind that.
Not 3 for 1, 4 for 1,
we're not
everything.
Home and homes or anything, or 2-and-1s. It's you come here and play us,
and you get a good check.
Oh yeah,
and the check's good.
That's part of it.
You take it straight to the bank.
That's not talked about, but yeah,
$808 million last week. Check's good.
Yeah, those checks are good. I'll take them.
The new Silverado deal of the year at All Star Chevrolet. It's good. It may be the best deal of the 21st century. It's an olive branch at All Star Chevrolet, where all the Silverados are. You can get financing down to 2.9% plus make no payments for 90 days. You can finance a new Blazer at 1.9 and no payments for 90 days. It's still love month, so come see and get that new Silverado or new Blazer at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. First exit on Highway 78. When you cross into Mississippi, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. You'll love no payments till May. Your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare worker, recent grad, educator, military, instant extra $500 bonus back. If you're looking for a certified Silverado, Suburban, or Tahoe, they're right there at All-Star in Olive Branch on Highway 78. Every pre-owned you can imagine, Hondas, Fords, Hyundais, dozens of Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, whether you bought it there or not, and you'll get the most money back for it on your great deal. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, we got to talk bracketology with our bracketologist, Shelby Mass from bracketwag.com. He joins us next.
It's not spring yet, but it's close, and right now, it's the perfect time to start thinking and planning for your backyard entertainment. Just so happens Family Leisure is thinking that way too, with their preseason pool and patio sale. Get 2024 pricing on all above-ground pools and patio furniture. Also, secure your spot for pool installation. That way, you can go ahead and start making plans. Lots of new inventory is en route, so in-stock patio furniture is up to 70% off. You want a play gym, a trampoline, how about an outdoor kitchen to go along with that new pool? They're all on sale too. You can get spas up to $3,000 off and save even more by mentioning this ad. You do that, you'll get a $250 gift card with a pool, spa, or patio furniture purchase. Winter won't last forever. The spring will be here soon, so get ready with the preseason pool and patio sale at Family Leisure, Rick Road off I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch garden videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase a single line Gold Unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. You'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp. You get only 3, but that 1 shrimp is so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you get shrimp. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 big airlines and the largest match ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's already trying to build at times on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway. It's going to pick up here in the next few minutes all the way into Fayette County. They're coming out of Shelby County as it increases to 40 onto 385. Bill Morris Parkway has been in pretty good shape so far. Let's keep up the good work there as you head on out towards Collierville. If your yard needs some help this time of the year, don't worry. Lawn Solutions can make it even greener. With 30 years experience, call Lawn Solutions right now at 901 area code 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Joining us now to talk some bracketology. Shelby Mast from BracketWag.com joins us now. Shelby, the committee revealed their top 16 teams Saturday. In your bracket, you had 15 of the 16 that were announced. The only one that you did not have was St. John's. I believe you just had them one out of that top 16. What did the committee say? What did the committee show on Saturday that helps you with what the bracket could look like here in 4 weeks?
Well, they emphasized even more so how strong the SEC is. When you got 5 of your top 6 as SEC teams, you better pay attention to that conference. I think St. John's being on the 4 line, just above Marquette and Michigan State, I think that's the right move, but I just didn't think they'd do it because metrics and the spread, the team sheets and everything, St. John's isn't really stacking up with those two, but they have proved on the court, so I guess the eye test does still matter.
Shelby, did anything from this 16 team reveal anything to you about how serious and maybe predicting how good of a job the full unveiling of the bracket will be on Selection Sunday?
It's going to be tough trying to place all the teams. You're supposed to only have a maximum of 2 teams in the top 4 seeds from a conference, and the SEC is making it awful tough. And the Big Ten as well. I think that they did a really good job of balancing it out, getting all the seed numbers right and matching them up. I think that's going to be the biggest trick on Selection Sunday is not who you get in, but where you put them as opposed to others.
Okay, is that set in stone that they can't or they prefer not to?
Well, it's not set in stone that they can't. They will relax the rules if they have to.
So, I'm kind of getting to, I would much rather see them having to relax that kind of mission statement than reduce somebody's seed to work it in that somebody's really not deserving to make that work.
Yeah, I don't think they will move them off the seed line that they're at to do that. I think they'll just relax the rule because if somebody is a firm 4 seed, then there'll be a 4 seed that may not like the region they're in. They may have to travel further or play a conference opponent earlier than expected, but I think they'll remain on the 4 line.
Shelby, a lot of people here locally in Memphis were hoping that the Tigers were either in or around that top 16 that was revealed on Saturday. They weren't, and then yesterday they go out and drop a game on the road in overtime against Wichita State. What did that loss yesterday do to the Tigers?
I don't think it did a whole lot yesterday because it was a conference opponent on the road in overtime. Things like that happen. But where it'll hurt Memphis in the long run, that's now 3 quad 3 losses. And one of them at home, that's going to hurt them moving up. I don't see them moving higher than 6 seed no matter how they finish out.
So you think ceiling is 6?
Probably so.
What is basement?
9.
Ooh.
And that's assuming that everything is they play good against a good team, have a maximum of 1, maybe 2 losses, and win their tournament. If they start losing down the stretch, they only got 6 games left. But if they lose 3 of those, that's going to be bad luck.
And you say against the good teams, that's the problem with this league. There aren't any.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'd be the better half of them, North Texas, teams like that.
Yeah, and they don't play them again. They would maybe meet them at Dickey's Arena. And Shelby, I owe you an apology. First week we have you on of the year, and I took exception of where you had Memphis last week. You were ahead of your time. You had them right in there where they kind of all where they are by just about everybody.
Yeah, it's okay. I understand. I've caught a lot of flack from a lot of people over the years, and I've turned out to be right more often than not.
What's the maddest fan base that's ever gotten to you?
I think it was a few years back, North Carolina State. When the net first started, North Carolina State had a 32 net ranking, but they didn't beat anybody. I don't know how, the net was figured, but they didn't. I had, fans tell me they're going to get in. You're wrong. I said, well, wait and see. I don't think they will. They didn't get in, and I never heard from them again.
Is anybody stand out like that this year? Is there a net anomaly, somebody way up there that maybe shouldn't be?
I don't think so. I think there have been questions about why I'd have teams seated where I do, and I had one this morning. Why is Kentucky a 3 seed? Well, the committee put them as a 3 seed last Saturday.
That's right.
At Texas, so that's not a bad loss. And I'm not going to go against the committee just because I might think they're wrong.
Yeah.
Now, in the net, I do have my questions about Virginia Common. They're 34 in the net, but where do you have them as a 12 in your bracket? So you don't take the Virginia Common net stuff.
They flip flop for me between 11 and 12, and Drake I have up at 11. And even though they lost yesterday, they still got a really good record. What's helping them is that Kansas State has kind of come on, and so that gives them an extra quad one win, and that'll look good on Selection Sunday.
Shelby, Brett and I talked a lot last week. It felt like Arkansas really needed a win on the road at Texas A&M if they were going to make a lot of noise. They don't get that win. I shouldn't say that. I should say it would have really helped them if they could have gotten that marquee win on the road against Texas A&M. They weren't able to get that. Right now you have Arkansas in the next 4 out. What would that game have done if Arkansas would have beat Texas A&M, and what does that mean now with them losing that game?
If they'd have beat them, they would have probably moved in. Georgia is barely hanging on, and I just don't feel comfortable putting anybody else in above them, so they stay in for now. Arkansas has ample opportunities coming down the stretch. Win half of the games remaining, or even 4 of 6, and that's going to go a long way.
Arkansas's next 3: Wednesday night at Auburn, number 1 Auburn. Saturday night at home against Mizzou, and a week from Wednesday, the 26th, at home against Texas. That's rough.
Oh, no problem. They want to get in. There you go.
Yeah. Win 2 of those 3, and it goes a long way. And when people talk about playing at South Florida and going to Wichita.
Yeah, no chance in that. Vanderbilt in the last 4 in. What do they need to do to stay on the right side of the bubble?
Stay above water. They're floating, and they're kind of moving in the wrong direction. And they've had some winnable games and tough competition, but they were winnable, and they weren't able to pull them out, get those close wins, and that helps.
Yeah.
Ole Miss now 8-5 in SEC play, 13 games played, 5 left. 2 and 3 would go a long, long way, wouldn't it? Finish 10-8.
Yeah, I think it would. It depends on who the 2 wins are against. I haven't looked at all the schedules, but get 2 more wins, I think you're sitting pretty good.
What does 9-9 get you if you're Ole Miss? You only win 1 remaining.
I think Ole Miss is probably safely in, but don't test my theory. Don't think you've got it and go out and play pickup games or something.
Yeah, don't go over.
Right, win your games and try to finish the best as you can, and hope for the best. And hopefully some other things lose too.
And SEC tournament's really going to matter. Wednesday's going to matter at the SEC tournament. That 9, 10, even 11 seed on Wednesday, that could help a resume.
Yeah, it can. And usually they are finished having the team selected by Thursday night to Friday afternoon. So you want to make hay while you have time. If you're making a move like A&M found out a few years ago, don't wait till Sunday to make it. Make it early.
Shelby, do you think any at-large team, not anybody winning the automatic bid, but do you think any at-large team can get in on Sunday morning, or they've already made their decisions?
I think they've already made their decision. And we have, the mock committee I'm on, we've discussed that ad nauseum. We don't agree with it, but we understand it for time's sake. And if they had all the conference tournaments ending on Saturday, then Sunday opens up a little more, and maybe so. But I don't see it happening. The teams are voted in by Friday evening, and it's done.
By Friday evening. So Saturday doesn't even matter.
Well, it does for teams that are still possibly at large. There still could be some rumblings there, but probably not. It probably doesn't matter.
Wow. It's hard to believe.
But you look at how many times has it happened over the years.
Yeah.
Not many. A&M is the most egregious one I can think of. Other than that, there really hasn't been any that stand out.
Yeah, that's true. Shelby, you have New Mexico on the 9 line right now. They picked up a big win yesterday over Utah State. You look at the remaining schedule for the regular season, 3 more Quad 1 opportunities on the schedule. If they can take 1 or 2 of those Quad 1 games, how high can they rise, and what do you think of this New Mexico squad?
I've seen them play a few times. They're really good. I give Patino give him credit. He's done a good job. He's basically got a new roster. But they're good. I hesitate to move them up because I felt good about the Mountain West last year, and the committee really gave them a bad rap. They have 2 of them in a playing game, and definitely not deserved. So I think they'll up on them again.
When you do your bracket, do you ever try to get cute with anticipated TV matchups, like trying to think maybe the networks in a second-round game, maybe even first-round game with St. John's and New Mexico, Rick Pitino against Son Richard? Do you ever try to do that, or you just let it fall out, have the numbers do it?
I let it fall out how it comes out, and I have had those matchups before, not even trying to. I remember I had when Pitino was at Kentucky and his kid was in Minnesota, or maybe it was Louisville and Minnesota, and I had them matched in a first-round game several times throughout the year.
Yeah, those matchups. Well, I mean, I like the matchup you have right now for Memphis with the opportunity to play Vanderbilt, a team that Memphis has played the last couple of years in regular season. That would be a really fun
Doesn't
matchup.
Doesn't it feel like either as a 6 or a 7, the Tigers' opening opponent will be one of those SEC teams?
Probably so, just because of the number of teams.
The number.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Well, Shelby, as always, a lot of fun getting you on and picking your brain about your bracket. Enjoy the week, and we'll do it again next Monday.
That was good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Shelby. You have a great week. Shelby Mass with us every week now through one shining moment, trying to forecast the bracket and enjoy that. He was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, official jeweler of the hometown Memphis Grizzlies, big Tiger supporter. And they have that great location at 4542 Poplar that so many people enjoyed on Valentine's Day and enjoy throughout the year. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings, all the locations across the Mid-South. Yesterday I had to be in Jonesboro and was driving down Stadium Drive and saw the new Sissy's Log Cabin being built or completed there and looked great. 9,000 square foot right here in Laurelwood in Memphis. Looks great with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. The official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. And you can go back there and see the display cases for yourself. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to another break. When we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Hey everybody, the new Silverado deal of the year, maybe the decade, is here in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, where all the Silverados are. Yes, you can get financing down to 2.9, plus make no payments for 90 days. Finance your new Blazer, 1.9, no payments for 90 days. Look, it's still love month, so come get a new Silverado or Blazer. You will love no payments till May, and your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responders, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And if you're looking for certified Silverado Tahoe Suburbans, they're right here at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Every pre-owned you want, Fords, Hondas, Hyundais, dozens of Silverados, they're all here. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive. AllStarAutoGroup.com.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
With dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to slow it down and get it going slower. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression. Izervay gets GA going slower. Izervay or vasocamptic pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today. Izervay gets GA going slower. Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today is the number 25. David Cobb brought up Cooper Flagg, and he said if it was his choice, the best player this season has been the freshman over at Duke, Cooper Flagg. How about this nugget to kind of back up what he was saying? Cooper Flagg has totaled 450 points, 150 rebounds, 100 assists, 40 steals, and 25 blocks through the first 25 games in 2024-25. The only other Division I players this century to reach those marks through 25 games of a season are Dwayne Wade, who did it in 2002 and 2003, and
Final
Ben
Four for
Simmons.
Marquette.
Yes,
Oh,
Ben
Simmons
Simmons, who did it
his 1 year at
in the
LSU.
2015-16 season. So really, rare air Cooper Flagg is with those type of numbers.
What, Bryant? You know the game. You love the game. What is the best part of his game?
I love when people ask that question, and obviously it's asked to people who know a lot more about the game and about his game than I do. It's how he can do it all. I mean, he
the
doesn't
fundamentals.
Have,
that
yes,
is it.
It is the how well-rounded he is. He can just do a little bit of everything, and it's not
He
like
may
one
be the
thing.
savior for the Washington Wizards.
For whatever team he gets drafted to, it's going to be huge because he's not super flashy. He doesn't have one area where he's just unbelievable at. He's just great at really everything, and
Tim
it's kinda
Duncan
rare.
was the big fundamental. He's kind of the mid-sized fundamental.
Yes, and you don't see that as much. Just a guy that comes in is just super fundamentally sound because everyone wants to be so flashy. That's not really his game.
My big number is 221. That's the number of games that Penny Hardaway's been the head coach at Memphis. Never mind his one loss because some of those games he had to set out. But he's been the head coach of the team for 221 games since he was hired. The team in that time is 154-67. For historical reference, after 221 games, Josh Pastner, third mention of Josh Pastner.
CJP, how about that?
Good Monday for him.
Wow.
158-63.
Ooh. Wow. Run those back one more time.
In 221 games, basically under Penny's direction, 154-67.
Wow.
Pastner 158-63.
Wow.
Josh went on to win after 240 games as Tiger head coach. He was 167-73.
I'm at a loss of words. I mean, that's
So
a great big number.
So the rest of the year, Tigers have 5 regular season games left?
That's right.
Let's say 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
3 at Dickies Arena.
Yep.
Two or 3 at Dickies Arena.
Sure.
Let's say
call it
2
Yeah.
2-1.
Sure. Let's call it that. That's I think would be at the worst side, right?
All right, so that's 6 more wins. Probably not one in the NCAA tournament.
Sure. Let's give it to him.
That's 161.
Wow. That's crazy.
Pastner ahead after 7 years.
Wow. That's hard to believe. Well, and a lot of that, Brett, though, was the Kings. I mean,
Well, that's right.
I mean,
you have that
what do
kind
you
of
expect?
royalty.
You had Memphis royalty in there.
Well, I had that 30-win season.
Yeah, no, that was big.
I don't know if that was with the Kings, though.
They were
Close
in
enough.
and out. Yeah, it was in and out. They're in there. They're out of there. Who knows?
Do you think people would generalize after 7 years it's even that close, much less Pastner leading?
No, I mean,
the conference was bad then,
Sure.
but better than now.
Sure. I mean, I'll be honest, Brett. I feel like I follow this team pretty closely.
Know it pretty well, right?
I feel like I know it pretty well. That number that blew me away. I have no other words for it.
It did me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what triggered me to look at it and compare it. And it's mostly been 7 years of not much.
That's right. I'll tell you what it was. It was seeing CJP on halftime yesterday during the Tigers game.
I think they did
it. Let's
I think
see what these two are doing.
And until right at the very end, well, after the loss to CBU in the exhibition game, it wasn't particularly ugly on him.
No, not really. The end kind of was.
And he was not fired, remember?
No, it was. Hey, Georgia Tech, take him. He's a great
Okay.
coach. You love him.
Please, we'll pay the moving fees.
He's a great coach and even better guy. Go ahead and take him.
Just the best guy on earth.
I mean, he's great. He's great. That's weird. 3 mentions of Coach Josh Pastner since we started.
Right.
I was with a buddy earlier who also brought up Josh Pastner. So I mean, I don't know what it is. Coach Josh Pastner getting brought up a lot today.
Both with the same number of NC. No, Josh had 2 NC tournament wins. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Josh beat St. Mary's and George Washington, right?
That's right.
And Hardaway's only defeated Boise, correct?
Boise, that's correct. Yeah. So, wow. Coach Josh Pastner, he has the edge right now, and we'll see how this season finishes off for Penny Hardaway in his group.
So I get from a friend, his big number of the day is 1413.9, 1,413.9.
Okay. It's a crazy number.
That's the mileage difference between Tampa and Wichita.
Well, at least somebody doing the work for us.
That wins right there.
That does. That's the big number maybe of the year. I don't know. 2 months in, that might take the cake. Well, we need to go ahead and wrap up this hour. When we come back to start our third and final hour, we're talking Grizzlies with Rob Fisher.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I plug mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and garden videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid before 1525 taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase a single line global limited plan or higher. For network payments and practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Pay for SEO 233118, MSRP 25320. Telluride SG 596,204, MSRP 41060. Sportage S719 2005, MSRP 30660. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through KFA. Excludes top final license 895 PF with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/2/2025.
It's the Kia President's Day sales event on now at Classic Kia Southbound Mariah. Hey, what's up, Jeff Allen?
Randy, I've got a 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than $5 a day at $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. 2025 Kia Telluride has front-wheel drive with more power, larger cargo area, and more ground clearance than a Nissan Pathfinder. $398 a month. Plus a 2025 Sportage EX, better overall customer rating than a Toyota RAV4 and longer warranty per Edmunds.com at $279 a month.
All $49.99 to a signing, 24 month lease. Plus, get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warrant.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Classic Kia on Mount Moriah.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, T-Dot's out here with a couple of disabled vehicles. Traffic still moving at the moment out of Midtown on 240 southbound at South Parkway. It has picked up just in the last few minutes on 40 westbound at Danny Thomas as this traffic builds on the I-40 bridge back over into West Memphis. So far, so good on 40 east from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover once again.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour. And joining us now to talk some Grizzlies, Rob Fisher from the FanDuel Sports Network joins us now. I got to tell you, Rob, I was telling Brett this earlier, but hearing the same game parlay for Grizzly games on FanDuel Network, it hits a lot different than it used to with Bally's. I mean, seeing that FanDuel logo on the microphone, I don't know, it just hits different.
It's fun for me because I like to gamble.
That's right.
And I'm not allowed to gamble on the NBA. So it's fun to look at some parlays and throw them together. And the good news has been, I make it no secret. I usually, generally, will either take the Grizzlies minus the points, or if they're dogs, I'll take the points, or sometimes even go money line. And Chris Vernon always laughs. He goes, "Do you ever pick against the Grizzlies?" Well, hell, their record against the spread's one of the best in the league. So
no kidding.
Why would you pick against the Grizzlies at this point? And certainly being the Grizzlies pregame show, I'm hoping for a win every night. So I'll throw that out there. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because so many people will come into the studio pregame prior to us going on the air, and they'll be like, "Hey, Rob, what's the parlay tonight? What do we got for the parlay?" It's pretty funny.
The hit rate, Rob, are you keeping up with it? It's up there.
I haven't, but it's been pretty good. I had a stretch where I hit 4 straight at one point.
How about that?
And
we know
I think
that's
I've hit
plus money.
Oh, yeah, and I think I've hit 2 of the last 4. So I hit in Toronto, hit in Phoenix, and then the 2 games I didn't hit, Grizzlies got smacked by Oklahoma City and got smacked by the Clippers. So they were nowhere near the line on that one.
Rob, I went the 80s without hitting 4 straight.
That also happens.
Well, as you both know from betting, generally I hit 2 of the 3.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I've hit all 3 pretty good rate this year.
And Rob, you said it was. I can tell it's fun, and I am so glad if you want to call it, we've matured as a society or sporting society, whatever you want to call it, that we're not talking about it in cloak terms, in back areas anymore. Look, it's legal. Yeah. It's out there. If you don't want to, don't. If you think it's problematical, run from it. But if you enjoy it, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing. It wasn't that long ago where we'd be on the radio and jokingly say, "For entertainment purposes only."
Wasn't that ridiculous?
I mean, we did that for 20 years,
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's fine to do. It's amazing to think that we have a college football playoff and that sports betting is legal are 2 things I never thought I'd see.
The Grizzlies at the break. I said one day last week, I don't know how it could be any better.
Yeah, I was asked on the show the other day to grade the Grizzlies, and I sat there and thought about it for a second. It's like, well, you never want to sound like a homer, an absolute homer, but how do you give them anything less than an A? Yeah, they're the second best team in the Western Conference. And, do they have flaws? Sure, you saw them against Oklahoma City, but everybody's got flaws against Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. The thing is, all these teams making moves at the deadline and everything, they're trying to catch you. You're trying to catch Oklahoma City, but everybody else is trying to catch you and Oklahoma City. So, I think nothing less than an A. And this is still a team that's had the second most games lost to injury in the NBA, which, compared to last year, it's nothing. We've been a clean bill of health compared to last year. But, I mean, that is still something to keep in mind, that this team hasn't really had their whole complement of players together very long. And just getting Vince Williams back and just getting Gigi back, and Jaws had some time out, and so you're getting guys together, and that's why I think with this team, I think in years past when this team has made the playoffs, you kind of felt at the All-Star break, hey, we are who we are, and we're going to go forward with who we are, and and let's see if it's good enough. I think the ceiling on this team still hasn't been reached. Now,
Best basketball is ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and will they reach the ceiling? I don't know. That's yet to be determined. But
that's competition. That's sports.
Right, and I think, but I still think there's a higher ceiling for this team, and I think that's what makes this final run is going to be very exciting.
I would say the Oklahoma City game at home, that was a humbler. I mean, just watching that, going, okay, all right. Sometimes there's just a bigger and badder guy out there. And the couple Monday nights ago at Madison Square Garden, outside of those, and you're not going to play the Knicks in the playoffs, bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the team split with Denver, but Jokic didn't play, so, you know, we'll see how they match up there. But, you know, I think you're okay. And, you know, the Lakers you've had a bad matchup with, but you've had a bad matchup with AD, and he's gone. So how do you match up with them now? I don't think you're scared of anybody. I said this last week with Brevin on our podcast, Night Court, which you can get wherever you get your podcast.
Nice.
I said to Brevin, there are really, I think, three teams: Boston, I guess Cleveland. I still haven't seen Cleveland enough to know how great they are, but their record certainly shows that they are. So Cleveland, Boston, and Oklahoma City, and maybe even Houston because of the matchup. The margin of error is very slim. Very slim. Almost nothing.
Yeah.
You have to play perfect against those teams. But that's it. There aren't many teams in the league that I would say that about. Now, you have to play well, and you can't make too many mistakes when you play good teams, for sure. But I think your margin of error being none, there are really only a few teams in the league you can say that about, and you have to figure out how you're going to beat them if you meet them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Rob, you mentioned the trade deadline a couple minutes ago. A lot was made about what the Grizzlies did at the deadline, sending away Jake LaRavia and Marcus Smart. I think the biggest part of it was the fact that they sent a first-rounder out with Marcus Smart. What did you make of what the Grizzlies did?
Well, I think you just chalked that one up to a loss. You know, it didn't work out. What you hoped would happen with Marcus Smart just never came to fruition because he was never ever able to play. And for the rest of this season, I'm not confident he's going to be able to play. I mean, that one game he came back, the way that he was holding his hand and the pain that he was in during that game, even I don't know if he's going to be able to go come postseason time. And that's what everybody talks about with Marcus Smart is, you know, he can help you in the playoffs? Sure, if he's on the floor. If he's a cheerleader, no. And I think, you know, with the financial flexibility that you got in these deals as well, obviously we all know that that's very important. You know, it's not exciting or sexy for us to talk about it because, you know, it's not our money. So we'd rather say just figure it out. But those are things that are important. And, you know, the Marvin Bagley thing is interesting. He's supposed to be healthy, they hope, after the All-Star break. And, you know, trying to get him up to speed with what they do during the All-Star break. You know, can he be a big athletic guy that can give you a good 10 minutes? I don't know. He hasn't been good. His career's been a flop. But one thing he's never done is been with a team that wins and a team that has a winning culture and a team that goes out thinking they're going to win night in and night out. He's never been in that situation since college. So maybe that's something that can help him. Maybe this is a good fit. I'm not saying that makes everything great and here come the Grizzlies because of Marvin Bagley, but could be an interesting piece. And if he can be a piece that can just give you a good handful, 10 minutes a night, you know, maybe you got something there too.
Different players, different sizes, same colleges. But is this a little bit like the Justice Winslow bet? I mean, what do you got to lose?
I see what you're saying, and I said the same thing to somebody recently. And yeah, so what do you got to lose? I mean, that didn't work, and unfortunately for the Grizzlies, you know, he was hurt to the point where they tried to force feed him in, like in the last week of the season, and it went into the playoffs, and it was a disaster. You know, here you got a lot more time to figure out, Can he help me or can he not? And if he can't, all right, fine. He's inactive every night and he doesn't play. But can he help me at all? And that's something they'll find out here soon. And with Justice Winslow in that situation, the answer was no. And Marvin Bagley, I don't know. That answer may be no, but we'll see.
Yeah. Talking to Rob Fisher, he joins us from FanDuel Sports Network to talk Grizzlies. What do you make of Luke Kennard? And, I mean, it felt like we had that stretch where he could not miss a shot. He was red hot. And now over the last 2 weeks or so, he's really struggled to knock down shots. What have you seen from him over this last month?
Struggling. Well, yeah, he had those 2 nights that were just heaters that were incredible. And, you know, he got in double figures the other night against the Clippers, but prior to that, he had some rough nights getting the shot, getting the ball in his hands, getting the shot off. It's different for Luke because those 2 nights where he had the heaters, the ball was in his hands a lot. And, you know, because Desmond Bain, I think, was out one night, and I think Ja was out one of the nights. So he had the ball in his hands a lot. And he seems like he gets more engaged and gets in more of a flow when the ball's in his hands more. And in fact, he's even said it. He said he thanks Coach Jenkins for letting him be on the ball because it feels like it gets him involved more. So I think that was part of it, you know, just kind of moving off the ball a little bit more and trying to find the shots and them not being there and the ball not finding him enough. Luke's fine. He'll be fine. I mean, when he gets the opportunity to shoot, he's going to let it fly. And I think the thing that, you know, even though his scoring production may have been down for those few games, he's still getting a handful to 7 assists. He's still getting a handful of rebounds. He's getting a couple of steals. I mean, the guy is making an impact because of his aggressiveness night in and night out. Now, we want him to score. I mean, that's generally what Luke's here for, to knock down some threes. But the other things that he's doing, I think, can't go unnoticed. And he's been very effective in other areas when he's not scoring. So I think it's been good. And you know, I don't worry about him because all it'll take is one going through the basket and he'll knock down a few.
Yeah, February's been a little bit of the scuffle, a little bit of struggle bus for him compared to some of the games in January. But we know he can hit big shots. Rob, you talked about at trade deadline, you know, everything around Laravia and, you know, last year with Roddy. I love the candor and really speaking to the sporting public, the paying public around here, the fans, how Zach Kleiman did, how he spoke to us like adults, and he basically said, you know, I'm not perfect, I make mistakes too, and owned up to it. I think the public I know I loved it. I think the public loves it. Okay, so he doesn't do every show in town, you know, like some GMs and some people in some markets, fine, but the product when anything decent. In terms of health, he's put a good team out there, and I think he should be commended. I love that. Do you think it's gone over well in the public?
I think so. And you know, I think while a lot of people initially were like, oh, the Marcus Smart deal, you had to give up another number 1 pick. I mean, you really screwed that up. Yeah, they ate it. I mean,
yeah. It happens.
It happened. It's on the resume of Zach Kleiman moves. That was not a great one.
Some balloons fly, some don't.
But
some are the Hindenburg.
Many more balloons have flown. I mean, from what they've done.
Q99 red balloons right now.
Yeah, I mean, and I think for a contender to make the moves they make, I mean, let's be honest about the trade deadline. If I told you tomorrow the Grizzlies injury report was Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia, you wouldn't even blink an eye.
That's right.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
not at all.
So what's the? And then again, you could come back to me and say, well, what about the playoffs? What about Marcus in the play? That's if he's playing. Tell me he's playing in April, and I'll tell you I was wrong.
I've heard some people raise the question of how far can you go in the playoffs if you have 2 rookies in your starting lineup. Now, certainly a lot can change before then, but right now you have the 2 rookies in your starting lineup. What have you made of the first part of the season for them, and how far can you go if you have 2 rookies in your lineup?
Well, I mean, the thing is, people are so nitpicky with Zach Edey. But then I look at it and I'm like, all right, rebounding, you're one of the best teams in the league. Points in the paint, you're one of the best teams in the league. You're the second best team in the Western Conference right now, so it can't be that bad. Jalen Wells is really interesting because he's been so good at defending players. And then there have been some guys who are more on the ball guys that maybe he has struggled with. And you're going to struggle with guys. I mean, you're defending the best players in the league night in and night out. So you're going to have nights that you're not going to have it because the other guy is going to have it. And he's been so good. But I think it's going to be really interesting to watch here in these next few weeks. Does Vince Williams take that spot?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's still hard to take Jalen out of the spot because he's earned it. And I don't think he's done anything to necessarily give it away. But maybe Vince is better. I don't know. We'll have to see. Vince has got to play some games. He hadn't been in the lineup for a while, and he's got to play a handful of games in a row and make sure he's up to speed and make sure he's in game shape and all those things. That Scooter, by the way, that just drove by a minute ago, here he comes. He's coming back again.
All right. Give us.
So, yeah.
Toot the horn for us.
It's a little red Scooter with a big fella on it.
Love that.
Yeah.
But I think they've both been great.
Like at the Civitan's Christmas parade. You had to see that.
It felt like it. I think they've been great. I think Jalen should get even more recognition for Rookie of the Year because of what he does defensively night in and night out. Because anytime you see the rookie ladder, it just gives you, your statistics, your offense, defense, or your offensive statistics, points, rebounds, assists. It never shows. It never says the whole story. And so I think he should be given a little more credit than that. But I think that's a position I'm interested to watch because we've seen Vince finish games here recently, and Jalen did not. So, we'll see.
Rob, I know you've always said that when you do karaoke, you're not doing karaoke. You're performing.
That's right.
And I know sometimes you will accept requests. I've got a request for you. You do that great schedule breakdown when the schedule's released in August.
Right.
Heading into after the break, would you do us a schedule breakdown with what's remaining and start with us today and tell us what you think the traps are, the pitfalls? What are the toughest aspects of the remaining schedule?
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. I've been so far away from basketball for the last few days.
So this question would require actually having on clothes?
Yeah, I mean, I know you got Oklahoma City. I know you got Denver. I know you got in Denver surging right now. I know you got Cleveland on the road. That's coming up here.
Yeah.
When with Denver as close as they are now, just a half game behind the Grizzlies, the key is all the games you're supposed to win, you need to win.
And especially at home.
Especially at home, absolutely. And, to the Grizzlies' credit, for the most part, they've done that this year, with the exception of 2 Brooklyn games and the Chicago game that they blew. They've taken care of business against bad teams all season long. And they've also taken care of the Eastern Conference all season long. Continue to do that, win your home games, and they'll continue to be where they're at right now. We talk about breaking the season down into 10 games, and you want to go 6-4 in each one. Well, they just had a 9-1 in January, and so that gives you a nice little 3-game cushion there on a month. So you want to go 6-4 every month, and the Grizzlies have been able to do that. They had 1 month this year that they were 5-5, but they've had a couple 6-4s. They had a 7-3, and they had a 9-1. So
and
they're doing
never
very
lost
well.
more than 2 in a row?
They haven't lost more than 2 in a row and haven't done that since the beginning of January.
Wow. And Rob, is this the fastest part of the schedule? Is this downhill slide after the break before the playoffs?
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, it goes fast. And, I mean, I can't believe the last 2 games before the break were a back-to-back, and the first 2 games out of the break are a back-to-back, which is crazy. But yeah, I mean, once it starts, it flies by. I mean, to think that we have less than 30 left now.
Then towel waving season.
It'll be 20. It'll be 15. Us normal people will be talking about magic numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will. and tweeting them to you at late hours of the night.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, once All-Star weekend happens and we have our fun there, and then we go to this stretch run. And I'll tell you this, I wanted to get this off my chest today. Heading into this stretch run, which is going to be so much fun, and we see the building electric on a nightly basis for home games. And to hear this narrative over the weekend so much about there's a problem with the product of the NBA. There's a problem with the product of the NBA. You know what's really sickening about this problem with the product of the NBA? You know, Stats, you always talk about college basketball. Those who cover college basketball, stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Those who cover college football, stay in your lane. These are the people who cover the NBA on the networks that are paid.
No kidding.
Yep.
And they're making big money.
Between Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson and Stephen A. and Charles and Kenny and Shaq to an extent. And then what Draymond did last night was an embarrassment.
And thank goodness for the
league.
big O Oscar Robertson calling him out. Right.
I mean,
you stay loyal
last
to
year, we went through hell last year with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
Hell. That was as miserable of a season you could broadcast as possible. And we were on there every night trying to give you the best possible story we possibly could.
Right.
If I would have been on the air last year and said, this product we have on the floor is complete crap, my producer would have been in my ear and said, what are you doing? And the next day I would have been fired.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
These people on ESPN and on TNT, they're the ones that are the problem with the product because they keep telling us how bad the product is.
Well
and it's
said.
not.
And Rob, you know I mentioned the college basketball crowd. They wouldn't run down their sport at gunpoint.
No. And to see these guys, and I know someone who has interviewed for NBC to be an analyst on NBC and basically was told, we're not going to run down the NBA. That's not what we're going to do here.
Good.
And I think that's good. Jeff Van Gundy lost his job because you couldn't watch him on television without thinking the NBA was trash.
Because he was an old crank.
and he's on their network. I mean, how is the NBA allowing it?
Crazy. It's insane.
It's amazing to me. And so this Oscar Robertson, bless his heart, what he said this weekend about Draymond and said the game's fine, the game's great, it's exciting, there are amazing young stars in this game, and who cares what Draymond says? Well, God bless you, Oscar Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
The first time that you've heard an older player not just say, oh, well, back in my day, the game was better. No, he said the game's great.
Yeah.
And we need to enjoy it. And we do. We need to celebrate our stars. Does the All-Star Weekend have issues? Sure. I thought it was better this year than it was in the past. Were there a lot of issues? Yeah, a lot of commercial time, a lot of Kevin Hart time, a lot of in-between time, and not a lot of basketball. But it was a little more competitive. You can still fix it, but, man, these guys, Jesus. It makes me sick hearing these guys talk about the NBA like they do.
I agree. And Rob, we shoot each other straight, and I text you, the fan was having the challenge at the game where they make the shot right under the goal and then go to the free throw line, then the top of the key, and then the half-court shot. And I asked you, I said, how do you think I would have any chance in this? And you texted back to me, no shot.
No chance.
So tell me this. Do you think I could post up Kevin Hart?
That's a great question.
Now, that would be great for your All-Star Weekend.
That'd fix All-Star Weekend, I think.
I need an answer. Do you think I could?
I think you could. Yeah, I think
I
you
do
could.
too. I do too. I think I could work him.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And I think I could do better on that shot contest than you think. And we may have to try that sometime pregame.
We got to get that set up. I don't know.
I think we should, yeah.
I don't know how we do
Although
it.
I don't shoot anymore. I don't shoot anymore. I got cut my sophomore year in high school, and I didn't shoot a basketball until I was about 35 years old, and it was at Mike Miller's house. And I
Rob,
got a
I got cut in
three-pointer.
10th grade and never touched a basketball.
Well,
I didn't either, and I picked one up at Mike Miller's house like 16 years ago. and I shot a 3 and I hit it, and I'm like, never again. Done.
Yeah.
Walk off.
Never shooting a basketball again. I'm good.
That'd be a good time to pick a basketball back up. Is that Mike
I got
Miller's
cut
house.
10th grade, never touched a ball.
Well.
11th grade, actually touched the ball. 12th grade, and later was good friends with the coach who became our athletics director at my high school. And I said, why did you cut me in 10th grade without me ever touching a ball? He said, I saw enough in 11th and 12th grade that justified it.
Well, yeah. That'll do it, I guess. Well, Rob, I was going to ask you about the Cardinals, but I guess we don't have any time to gauge your excitement about St. Louis Cardinals baseball.
I don't mind the starting lineup.
Well, yeah.
I got an Arenado jersey, so I'm happy.
There you go. Well, I guess you don't have to put it away. It sounds like he's going to be a part of the future.
I'm warming up a little bit.
I can wear it for another. I can wear it for another year, and hopefully I can start wearing my Jordan Walker here at some point.
Maybe until the All-Star or the trade deadline. I don't know.
Rob, be safe on that first road trip out.
Yeah.
Yep, will do. Looking forward to it. We got it's really interesting. We go to Indiana, then Orlando, then Cleveland.
That's a fun road trip.
That's a good way to catch the crud, isn't it, if you hadn't already?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah,
that's a lot of recirculated air, isn't it?
It sure is.
A lot of different clothes. Yeah,
yeah, it is. Thanks, Rob. We'll do it again soon.
All right, you got it, guys. Anytime.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Rob Fisher joining us. Always a
That's
time
the truth about defending your product.
Oh, man.
That's the truth.
Oh, I was talking with somebody earlier today, and it was Elisha who produces the morning show, and he's a big NBA guy. And I asked him, what did you think of All-Star Weekend? Did you watch? He said, yeah. He goes, I just hate it because I think it gets a bad rap, and it really doesn't deserve as much heat as it gets. And I said, well, the worst part about it is you have everybody there on TNT running it down, and then you bring in a comedian, and I mean, I can't blame him. It's his job to make jokes, but you got him piling on top of it. It's really tough. And
how long you think Goodell would allow that?
Oh, man, it would have been 2 minutes, and he would have been up there going, y'all tell them to cut that out right now.
He'd have got in the control room.
Oh, yeah. Immediately. Immediately, and it happened all night. And it's really happened a lot this year. So I thought a great point by Rob Fisher, and glad he's bringing it up because it I think is a really good point. Well, we got to get to a break here in a second, but before we do that, let me remind you about our great sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team's ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but give them a visit, 6335 Will Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to another break. When we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
You get the best of Memphis for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack. Choose from house pastrami, corned beef, smoked turkey, roast beef, roast pork, beef brisket, and pulled shoulders, all made in-house. Elwood's fresh baked bread is delivered daily from the bakery in Cordova, and all Elwood's cakes and sweet treats come from Frost Bakery. Open daily for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack on summer in the Lowe's parking lot. And the newest Elwood's at 4040 Parkland Plus. You are there. Get the best of Memphis. Anywhere else at Elwood Shack.
I know it's not spring yet, but it's close, and right now, it's the perfect time to start thinking and planning for your backyard entertainment. Just so happens Family Leisure is thinking that way too, with their preseason pool and patio sale. Get 2024 pricing on all above-ground pools and patio furniture. Also, secure your spot for pool installation. That way, you can go ahead and start making plans. Lots of new inventory is en route, so in-stock patio furniture is up to 70% off. You want a play gym, a trampoline, how about an outdoor kitchen to go along with that new pool? They're all on sale too. You can get spas up to $3,000 off and save even more by mentioning this ad. You do that, you'll get a $250 gift card with a pool, spa, or patio furniture purchase. Winter won't last forever. The spring will be here soon, so get ready with the preseason pool and patio sale at Family Leisure, Whit Road off I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch garden videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid for 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase a single line global limited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
It's the Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett. $249 a month or buy for $18,410 gets 43 MPG. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid PHEV compared to Mazda CX-90. Better range, better warranty, and we Gossett at $299 per month or buy for $42,900. Ready to upgrade your ride? Get 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. $399 a month or buy for $29,460. Plus, get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today to start your year off right. 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 18410, PHEV RZO 59821, MSRP 489, Outlander RZO 67325, MSRP 33210, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD is working with a couple of accidents and continues to build on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway. Not bad with that steady flow of traffic on Bill Morris 385 right when you come off 240, continuing on out into Collierville. Weimer's Jewelry 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. And Brett, I hear that we have up to the minute, hot off the presses, top odds for the NCAA tournament winner.
From betonline.ag, we got them right now. Leader, Auburn, no shocks, 3-1. That's down from 6-1, or better than 6-1, right after the first year. Duke's at 4-1, Alabama 9-1. They were 15-1 after the first year. Florida 9-1, Houston 9-1. Look out! I think there's some value there.
I think so.
And Houston with the most Final Four appearances without ever winning a title with 6. 33-1. St. John's. Oh, I'm sorry, Tennessee 18-1. St. John's 33-1, Kentucky 33-1, Texas A&M 35-1, all the way down to Clemson 80-1, Louisville 100-1, Ole Miss 125-1, Mississippi State 150-1, Texas 150-1, Memphis 200-1.
Huh. Yeah.
Arkansas 300-1.
Wow.
Arkansas will be lucky to make the tournament.
I was about to say, I think you're You might like wasting money if you bet on Arkansas to win the win
Notre
the whole
Dame
thing.
off the board, and their coach, he lost it last night, and nobody's criticized him.
Yeah, that was something. Micah Shrewsbury, a guy that usually very calm, cool,
Picked
and
the
collected.
fight where there was no fight.
Yeah, I mean, really lost it yesterday. Post game press conference saying you can give up on me, but don't give up on this team. And whew.
I don't know about anybody really ever bought in.
Yeah, I guess that would be the question. I think a lot of that. I did not watch any of that game last night.
I did. I watched most of the Louisville Notre Dame
really,
game.
And Louisville, good win for them. They're rolling right now. But I from at least that rant that I saw sounds like he was not thrilled with the amount of fans that showed up, and it sounds like there was a good amount of Louisville in the crowd, and he was not very happy with that.
Yeah, Sunday night type game, more toward Sunday night.
Yeah,
that window.
Sure.
And look, Coach, people like going to Notre Dame for sports, and Louisville's got re-engaged fans after some lean years.
I mean, Louisville fans, they're ready to travel wherever with this basketball
They've
team.
saved the basketball travel budget.
Yes, they have not spent any money the last 2 years on basketball trips, and now they're ready to take those whenever they can. I mean, this Louisville
Feels like
team,
it's
they're
no
fun.
stopping the expanded tournament.
Yeah,
coming next year.
I hate that. Yeah, Brett, you know how much I hate that. But I think you're right. I mean, it feels like
I think you detest it more than I do, and I would have thought it would have been me more than you.
Yeah. I
would have stereotyped.
Well, yeah, but I think
That's the danger.
I think you would have been right in that stereotype because I think usually that's kind of where it falls between us.
So much of this I'm writing off as I can come in here and blow a gasket and go crazy, and there's nothing I can't stop it.
Yeah. Well, and that's how this feels. I mean, I remember when this was first floated out there a couple years ago, and it was just kind of this idea of, hey, what if we expanded the bracket? What if we added some more teams? And everyone was like, yeah, I don't think so. But then it just kept getting brought up and kept getting brought up. And
They play the long game.
it felt like at some point, it felt like there's no getting rid of this. It's going to happen. And yeah, it feels inevitable that's going to happen.
And one thing about the potential college football changes for 26 that Ross Dellinger has been out at the forefront on, reporting on, and that's going to break more. I don't know if it's this Wednesday or next Wednesday. There's a lot of meetings coming up. And we talked about earlier, it's time to make decisions.
Yeah.
They're really trying to decide what to do with conference championship weekend. At best, if they save them, they're going to move it up a week.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. And the big rivalry games that are Thanksgiving weekend will be a week before. So you want to give that up or give up conference championship games.
Wow.
And that will be a shock to the system.
It will be.
To be out at Egg and Iron. And some of those have been played on different weekends than just Thanksgiving weekend. But for all those state championship games and all the trophy games and the big rivalry games, for that to be the week before, it would really change some viewing traveling habits.
I mean, I think we've gotten into a pretty good routine where it's, oh man, Thanksgiving week, feast week, rivalry week. Look at this mountain of sports that we have this week. And then if you shake that up, oh wait, no, rivalry week a week before. I mean, that would it would be nice to have conference championship week that week. I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, but that would you have games on Friday?
Well, that's the question: is when would you play them? Would you have Friday? Would you have a Thursday night, Thanksgiving night championship game? I don't think so. I mean, how would the schedule line up? Would be the big question.
Because they're trying to dodge going against the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
But the NFL's now, they're now have worked their way into the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they have
with a game.
Yeah.
When do they go to afternoon and night?
That's a good point. It feels like that's coming.
They will.
I mean,
they don't play
nice.
nice.
Would you not? Oh no! The NFL playing nice? No,
don't have to.
Never. So yeah, I guess big decisions coming up.
And something's going to have to give. It's not going to be able. You're not going to be able to keep both. Where will Army Navy fall?
Yeah. And that will be the kind of next big question, and certainly a lot of people coming up with ideas of what you could maybe do with that game. But
and becoming increasingly difficult when to work in and schedule and have the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Yeah.
Got lucky this year that none of those finalists were having to play the very next weekend. Is that right? I think that's right.
I think that is right.
And got a little fortunate there.
Yeah.
But I can't blame a coach. Do I want to spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday in New York, and I got a playoff game next week?
No. Man.
No way.
You're right. There's a lot of big changes could be coming.
It's just so much calendar you have.
Yeah. Well, so much calendar, and Brett, it's already February 17th. We gotta start moving. We gotta start making decisions.
We do.
I mean, if you want some of this, any of this to
we
get
got to
into
get the
effect
lead out,
this
don't
year,
we?
yeah, you got to start making decisions because time's only going to continue to march on, and we're just going to get closer and closer to football season.
Two great coaching sayings: get the lead out and look alive.
Look alive is my favorite.
Come on, look alive.
Look alive, maybe one of my favorite sayings of all time.
A kid out there poking around in the dirt.
Oh yeah. Hey,
looking up in the stands.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Nothing better at a rec game or youth game. You walk around, you hear a
everybody
coach from the
hears
dugout.
it too.
Look alive out there. I love it. Oh,
he's
nothing
talking
better.
to me.
Yeah. Whoa.
I left out the best aspect of my basketball career. One time I scored on an auxiliary goal.
Yeah, that's something, Brett.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well,
up and in though.
Hey, went through, just wrong basket. Happens to the best of us, Brett.
Basketball cuts, so were rough.
It's rough. It's very rough.
Were you ever cut from a team?
6th grade. Sure was.
Justified cut?
Probably. We had some good dudes in our team. I was borderline. I'd say one of my buddies made the team. If I'm being honest, it probably should have been me instead of him.
You got your spot, huh? Kind of the Bronny effect.
Yeah, maybe, but
Landon, you ever cut improperly? Justified? Either?
Landon, have you ever been on a basketball team? Like a school team? I can't hear you. You gotta. There you are.
Last time I was offered a spot was on our 8th grade middle school Riverdale team.
You made it? You were on the team?
No, I didn't even try out. The coach just really wanted me to play.
How about that?
In PE, we would have these little basketball games.
Needed the dudes or what?
Well, I just sprinted up and down the court. Apparently, I could jump really high. And he was just like, you want to play basketball? I was
Schmidt,
like,
get over here.
I was like, no, thank you, sir. I do not want to wear Raider blue.
Well,
did y'all notice the game that started over, what game was it that started with it was the Missouri game. And the scorebook was wrong, and they started with a free throw.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
1-0. And a lot of people were talking about they didn't know about that rule. I did know, and I tell you how. Late 70s, early 80s, Arkansas they're playing, and I knew the guy on the team, Brad Fress. He was a fraternity brother with my brother. I knew him pretty well, and nice guy. And I don't know how. I don't know if it was his responsibility or a manager's responsibility. But in his travel bag, his uniform wasn't in it.
Oh wow!
And he started and had on practice shorts that on the back, it had defense. Like Eddie Sutton. And that was improper. Was not being in uniform.
Yeah.
And the other team started with a free throw before the tip off, and then he could play after being penalized. He could play like that.
Wow. So you got it firsthand.
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew that could happen.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit like in baseball, batting out of order. If the scorebook says Dacus is starting, but Schmidt starts, that's a foul.
Throughout the time I played competitive baseball growing up and the time my brother played competitive baseball growing up, my dad was an assistant coach for both of us on
in charge of the batting order.
He was in charge of the scorebook and the batting order. The amount of times he caught other teams batting out of order, I mean, it was incredible. It was like his whiz kid thing. He'd always, hey, they're out of order. Let them bat and then go out there and get that automatic out. So he was really
easy
good
way
at it.
easy way to do it. Now, were you ever part of a team that intentionally sent the wrong guy up to bat?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I was.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
For what reason?
Late in the game, we weren't going to get to him and just kind of send a kind of a better batter up.
Yeah, maybe they won't catch it type of thing.
Often would not be.
Yeah, wow.
Your dad was alert.
Oh, he was it was like his superpower was just keeping an eye on that order.
And at the big league level, there's that bench coach. That's what he is responsible for.
Yeah, keeping an eye on that. So yeah,
and you see it ever so often. It happens in the bigs.
You will. It's very very rare, but you'll see it every once in a while.
So it's one of my favorite things is when you see something that you think is unique to Little League happen in the show.
Hey, they're just like us,
Yeah.
they make those mistakes too, but you're right.
With $150 million payroll.
Yeah, they're getting paid a lot better. But no, that was a weird way for the Missouri game to start the other day, and Dennis Gates was not happy about it. They panned right over to him on the bench.
Oh, Eddie Sutton was hot after it happened.
I believe it.
To Arkansas.
I can only imagine.
First thing he mentioned on the post-game show. They won, which saved total meltdown.
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge. Well, let's go ahead, get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports
56. Tito's handmade vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? We have it covered at Humdinger. It's quick, it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Goodbye! Hello, Haskell!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, Memphis baseball wrapped up their first series of the season this afternoon against SEMO. It was originally supposed to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, but then with all the weather in play, they switched it around, ultimately played a doubleheader on Friday, the final game this afternoon. Memphis won the first one Friday, lost the second one, but then won the game this afternoon to defeat SEMO. This is a SEMO team last year, 36-27.
Knocked out Arkansas. With that pitcher that was throwing it too slow.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so a team that was really good last year brought back a lot of their pitching staff, brought back their best player in the field, was the preseason player of the year in the conference. I think a great way to start the season for Memphis baseball.
And SEMO could win their basketball league, too.
They sure could.
What I learned today, Bruce Pearl has his Auburn team way ahead of Alabama right now as a program. And Chris Jans has his Mississippi State team right now ahead of Ole Miss as a program. That all can change. Bama can change it a little quicker because they still got a couple potential matchups with Auburn the rest of this year. But right now at Ole Miss and State in the Egg Bowl world, Jans is ahead, way ahead.
Yeah, Jans has it right now, that's for sure. What I could have done without, Brett, when you're doing a jersey ceremony, make sure everything's good to go.
How does this happen?
How does it happen?
I heard Greg this morning. One job.
I mean, one job. You just check it a couple times. You hang it, you check it. For those who don't know, Terrence Shannon Jr., great player, great career at Illinois. Over the weekend, he has his jersey retired at Illinois. He pulls the drape down to reveal his jersey upside down. Upside down. How does that happen? You can see the look on his face. I mean, he was mortified that happened on the day that's supposed to be
biggest
a big day
moment
for
of
him.
his life.
Yes, to get your jersey retired at the university you played at is remarkable,
And
then
remember,
for that to happen.
He went through a lot.
Yes, it was not an easy 4 years, especially off the court for him.
Right. Could have done without all the excuse making around yesterday afternoon. It was the referees, always the referees. It was 18-18 in fouls called. The ever so tough back-to-back roadie at USF and Wichita State. I forgot the mileage that we had earlier, but Wichita State, they lost home earlier this year to Kansas City. It was 11,000 combined at those two places, and then the weather changes. Excuse. It was a bad day.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you move on. You got a week off now. Get prepared. Take on this FAU squad. Where are you beaming tonight?
Being me too. Arizona at Baylor on the Brazos in Waco. Hard to believe that all time in college basketball, Baylor has the same number of national championships as Arizona.
It's
one
insane.
each.
Yeah, that is crazy. But that's going to be a really good game tonight. Brett, beam me up to TD Garden in Boston. I have never felt more alive than watching Team USA play in the Four Nations face-off. Tonight's game doesn't matter. They already have it locked up. They're going to be in the finals Thursday night. But a game against Sweden, the boys are buzzing. It's already set. Canada, USA on Thursday. We'll see if USA gets another win before then.
Duke at Virginia tonight will be fun in comparing the Tigers having won and played there. See if Duke can tonight. Kansas State 13-12 against Utah, 14-11. Both of those teams going nowhere. On President's Day, why haven't we had a full day of basketball?
It's a great question. We've had a full day of TGL, if that does it for you.
I didn't know we did.
Yeah, we did. Triple header. How about that? Yeah.
I bet they had a couple of presidents bet on that, too.
Well, probably. Ludwig Aubert, who just won yesterday, he's playing today. So a little,
Won outdoors and indoors.
How about that? It's a good time to be Ludwig, I guess.
Sharp game.
Oh, he's so good. He is so, so good. Well, that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Since 1948, in the alley, the rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs